What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Sunday morning. I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show. Or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you so much once more for swinging by on this lovely day. Yes, my schedule is yet again changing, and this allows us to have Sunday morning recordings, shows, as was not the case in my previous schedule, where we do it Sunday evening, and sometimes we would have to post the next day. We're going to do our best to get a cracker like an early Sunday mornings from here on out, or at least for the foreseeable future until my fucking schedule changes again. But we appreciate you guys sticking with us, and we hope that you like a little bit of an earlier Sunday show. Not only have both Andrew and I had our breakfast and are nice up and wired, but when a dude can sleep in, his eyes look all swollen and shit. It's like, oh shit, we got a show to do. So if at any point I look like I just got out of bed, it's probably because I just did. But we appreciate you guys' patience, and as always, we thank you for swinging by on this Sunday morning, which is starting to get kind of warm here in Las Vegas. And boy, did we have some heat last night! Well, kind of with some fights. There were plenty of fights. As I talked about it on our Wednesday show. This Saturday, last night, or yesterday, the whole day basically was chock full of fights. We had a gang of fights early in the morning, and I mean early in the morning. We had a UFC card from China, for crying out loud, which I didn't get to watch, of course, until I woke up. But Bivol versus Eifert, we're going to be talking about that, right? Because well, I guess we saw what we figured we were going to see, but it's really more so the aftermath of what could potentially come next. That's going to be one of the topics we're going to be talking about, because not only did the Bivol defend his belts, which we'll be talking about momentarily, but there's now David Benavidez news that may or may not pertain to Bivol. So we anticipate talking about that, maybe some fight announcements that might be going on, stuff that I've heard slash watched online about what could potentially be next for Bivol and for Benavidez. That's going to be part of the conversation, of course. And then later on that evening, we had two cards. An okay MVP3 card that took place in, I believe it was El Paso on ESPN or ESPN Plus, at least the prelims. That card was good. We'll talk about it to a certain extent, but it's really more so I have a damn bone to pick with ESPN and MVP. God damn it. Oh, sorry. Oh, I said I wasn't going to say that. I'm sorry. One of our listeners said that I shouldn't. God bless it. God bless it. Man, God bless it. I'm gonna have to send in a letter, a petition to ESPN and MVP, I should say, their boxing promotion on ESPN, to make sure that I get to watch the replay, because it's not cool if I can't watch it in real time. If I don't have ESPN, they block me out, guys, which is not cool. So I'm gonna have to send in my complaint there. But that's one of the primary reasons, and of course we can talk about the decision a little bit later on. But that's one of the other fights that took place on Saturday. One of the other ones, Oshaki Foster, or Oshaki. His nickname is Shock. So sometimes I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his first name, but Foster, we know who he is, putting his WBC Super Featherweight Championship on the line against Raymond Ford. What a fight that turned out to be, but man, that first round was something else. We're going to be talking about it, of course, but I'm not entirely sure what to make of the fight, but we're going to be talking about it because, again, we had somehow Zuffa, kind of, sort of, wink, wink, involved afterwards, which, of course, Stevenson stepping into the ring, which we're going to be talking about, of course. We talked about a comeback of one Errol Spence next month, late July, against Tim Tszyu. Well, there's going to be another PBC fighter who's going to be making a comeback on that same card. If you haven't already read it, by all means, stick around for the surprise of who it is. Nothing major, but I figured I'd give you guys a little teaser. We're going to get another PBC guy coming back on that same card. No opponent name yet, but we already have him penciled in. And on that note, one last July update. IV Boxing, those guys who intend, Ed Pereira, who intend to put on a show, a record-breaking or attendance record-breaking outdoor event, July 11th in San Francisco. A little bit of an update on that. Nothing major, but it seems like, wow, this thing might actually be happening. Whether or not it breaks records is another story, but it seems as though they'll definitely make the attempt. So those are the primary stories that we're going to be talking about. And before we get into those, as always, a word from our video sponsor, Health Isol or Health Ysol. They're a tallow-based product company, soap in particular. But if you want to check them out and want to check out one of their products, make sure to use the code MADBoxing10 at checkout and get 10% off of your purchase, or follow the affiliate link that's going to be in the description of this video and get that same 10% off. As I always say, lavender patchouli is my favorite scent of bar soap, so make sure to check them out. Health Isol or Health Ysol, and make sure to use that code at checkout. It's a very easy and inexpensive way to support the channel. Alrighty, so after that long intro, earlier we're going to kick the day off Saturday with boxing from Russia. Dmitry Bivol put his IBF and WBA, I believe, and Ring Magazine lineal championships on the line against Michael Eifert. I believe that's his name. When I saw them get in the ring, Eifert kind of looked like a super middleweight. Like he looked like a blown up light heavyweight. He didn't look like he had the size. He didn't look like he was able to match up, at least. Like you can see it in their backs. You can see it in just the size. It almost looked like he was just oversized or undersized, I meant to say, for light heavyweight. He's been there for a while. I didn't really see that much of a size difference until they were in the ring, and I was like, damn, what the hell? And then sure enough, Bivol ends up dropping Eifert in the first round, catches him cold, and a nice little check hook. He basically took like a half step back and cracked him with that left, and down goes Eifert. It didn't look like he was terribly hurt. He did get back up. And from that point, it seemed like he was just content with going to 12 rounds. And ultimately, that is what happened. Bivol got himself a unanimous decision victory over Eifert in a relatively uneventful fight. Other than that first round, really everything else was pretty much the same. It was like rinse and repeat every round. It was an easy victory for Bivol. When I first saw that Bivol dropped Eifert, I thought, okay, cool. He's going to go in here and just mop the floor with this guy and look fantastic. And now there's a bunch of interest in Benavidez and him. But then it slowed down and it looked like he got into a rhythm, got into a groove. And then I kind of like took a step back and thought, well, you know what? He's been out of the ring for 15 months, I think it is. He had a serious back operation or surgery. So maybe getting the rounds in against a safer opponent who's not as dangerous, wasn't a bad deal. I know we all anticipated him maybe going in there and finishing the dude the way he has done with previous opponents, but I kind of like the fact that he went a few rounds. Andrew, let me go ahead and bring you into the show here. Before we get to the decision of the fight, I mean, nothing really crazy there, but after the fight is where I have my complaints. But what did you think of Bivol's performance, Michael Eifert's efforts, and ultimately going to 12 rounds?
Well, first off, I didn't like that it went to 12 rounds. I'm not one of these guys that are looking to watch people bring live sparring to their fights, right? I'm not here to watch a workout. You know, with the announcers starting off the telecast with, Eifert's not here to win. He's just here to look good. What the bro, this guy's in the biggest fight of his life. That's how we're opening up this telecast. That's what we're going to say. And then he gets dropped. So that even double sucked for the kid. You know what I mean? But continuously through the fight, they're talking about how he's just looking good because he's hanging in there. Really didn't make it feel like it was a championship fight at all. Bivol, you said he was the challenger was content with going the distance. I felt like the champ was content with going the different distance too. He tried to bring it on at the end there, I guess. I don't know if that was more of the commentators hyping up just what little action Bivol was displaying. But I didn't see any pound for pound combinations happening in there, Miguel. And, at a certain point, when are we going to stop giving these guys their oh, well, he had 15 months off, and oh, this was his first fight in fucking, a decade. Like, that's not our problem. To me, Bivol really hurt his marketability last night with the showing that he put in. And granted, it's not that big here in America already. He didn't help himself at all. Anyone. And then the way they kept screaming about bring on better beef, dude, no one's screaming that. It's only like those guys in that room are screaming that fight. You know what I mean? And he did nothing to make that fight a crossover or to make him demandable, make people want to watch him. So no, I was not. I watched it. It was early in the morning. It was Bivol being Bivol, right? He's always going the distance, but with the way they said this guy was basically there to be slaughtered, there was no slaughtering on Saturday morning. So yeah, it was it's 12 rounds for Bivol. Hopefully he gets back in the ring here soon, and we can get the answer to whether it's going to be Better Beef or Benavidez, and really that has nothing to do with the fans. It has everything to do with Turkey. It's just where Turkey wants to lay the money. Does he want to gamble on Better Beef, Bivol 3 and digging that hole deeper? Or do you try to see if you can get Benavidez, maybe with the power of Turkey's money, Saudi's money behind him, get him a household name, and then obviously a big fight with Bivol, because Bivol has a history with Canelo, right? So there's a slight chance that fight gets hot just because of that. Maybe the Mexican fan base will give him one shot. If he beats the guy that beat Canelo, we might watch his next fight, right? So maybe Turkey wants to try to do that more than going with the Better Beef. I'm kind of over the Better Beef fight. I haven't even seen Better Beef since the fucking fight with Bivol. So
if they each got 10 mil for each fucking fight, I'm sure this is gonna be a while before they're not exactly eager to get back in the ring, I guess.
Exactly. And Miguel, I could have swore Better Beef was already talking retirement in those two fights. He was talking about that was the end of his career. You give him, upwards of $20+ million. We haven't seen him since. He was old then. What do you think he's been getting out of bed lately as? You know what I mean? Like, I bet you he's been getting out of bed really late with all that money.
Yes, with the silk pajamas, as it's often referred to, with them. Here's the goats in the morning, like, all right, time to get those goats, right? He can take a sweet ass time. He doesn't have to wake up at 4 a.m. and go do road work, as much, I should say, at least. So from what I've read, and here's the thing. I guess before I get to that point, after the fight. Oh, and if you guys didn't realize that the fight took place on, or they aired it on DAZN. It was in Russia. Now, with the exception of the announcers, I guess the DAZN English announcers, and I say English, I mean like UK, England. There was really no other translation going on, for crying out loud. After the fight, I guess whomever is in control of the mic, right? This lady gets in the ring and starts interviewing him, right? Kind of like what Chris Mannix does for DAZN. And there's no translator in sight. Now, unless I missed it, because I saw the whole damn thing, or at least I thought I did. There was nobody there to translate anything. For all I know, he was saying, yeah, I want Benavidez next. I know you hear Benavidez' name, right? He didn't say that. I mean, I didn't read it or hear it at least. Nothing to do with Better Beef. He had his two sons there, and they were like, yeah, right. They were cheering for him. And it seemed like this whole thing, I don't know if that the commentator, whomever she was, asked him about what's next or anything like that. But if she did, I sure as hell wouldn't know what the hell he said, because for whatever reason, they seem to give two flying fucks about everybody here in the U.S. watching in the morning. I guess it just isn't that much of an audience. And I say, nah, they're probably barely getting up now. They're not even watching this fight. Well, somebody was. God damn it! I sure as hell. God, sorry. I'm trying to say. God bless it. God bless it. I was watching it, crying out loud. Like, I would like to know what's going on. I want to hear specifically what it is that he's saying. So maybe, oh crap, maybe it's some juicy stuff he's saying. Like, yeah, I want you Better Be like, oh dang, all right, I'm down with that. I don't even know what the hell he said. frankly, I don't know. And I was like, for a second, I'm like, is somebody, am I going to hear somebody maybe like on the mic, like saying what it is he's saying, even if he's not in the ring, or she, whoever. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
I seen you guys texting about that. I didn't watch the interview. We
Mhm.
were taking off at that time, right when the fight ended. So I didn't even watch. And I mean, seriously, he only has two options, right? He
Mhm.
can say whatever he wants. There's one guy pushing the money right now that's going to make these fights happen. These fights don't happen, you guys, unless Turkey's behind it. They're everyone's too expensive right now, right? You have those two who just made upwards, and I don't even know what the real number is, but I think it's plus 20 million,
Mhm.
right, for both of them for two fights. And then you have Benavidez, who's making his own somewhat pay-per-view money. I don't know what it is behind closed doors, but we're told out front that it's in the millions, right? He's in the
Mhm.
low say $3 to $8 million. It seems like that's what Benavidez is always making in his pay-per-view fights. So with that type of money, this fight doesn't generate flies to shit. Neither of them do. Not even
Mhm.
the Benavidez one, you guys were hoping gets hot. But damn, haven't we hoped that with Benavidez for a while now? I mean, he's had some good opponents on his resume on pay-per-view. He even had, we've talked about it many times, the likes of Tank Davis on the undercard. It still didn't do anything for him, right?
Mhm.
So we can try one more time with Bivol because Bivol has the history with Canelo. Maybe, possibly, the fans tune in. Sad for Gilberto if Bivol gets more ratings, for David than Gilberto did on Cinco de Mayo. That'd be crazy. I can't see that happening.
Yeah, that's a push. Yeah.
It's a push, right? Yeah, but what else do they have left? Where else are they going? Right?
Mhm.
Back to Russia, maybe. Save money by not having translators. That's what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's the light heavyweights is a sticky situation right now. There's
Mhm.
not too many things flying over there. The cash cow has left that division, so the only cash cow left was Turkey himself.
Well, I got some news for you.
There you go.
As I always try to watch, a lot of other content creators' videos because I want to hear other people's opinions. I want to hear their point of views and what other information that they get from insiders that we don't because we're not exactly that. I watched a video from Sean Zattel, a very popular YouTuber, journalist, and so forth, and he said, "Hey, it looks like from what I hearing, we're gonna get Bivol better BF3 in Russia with Russian money." Like not even Turkey involved. It looks like it's going to be just they're going to give them a whole bunch of money and they're
Wow.
going to go over there and do it. So it looks like that's what's next. Kind of leaving, Benavidez kind of on the odd man out, right? He's kind of outside, but it appears from what things are hearing, there's going to be no Saudi money involved in that one, and we're going to get the trilogy in Russia. I don't know when. I'm not sure if I don't remember specifically if you mentioned when, but it appears as though the Russian people are the ones that are going to pitch in to see this trilogy come to a conclusion and having no Turkey involvement whatsoever. That's what it sounds like from what he's saying at least. So it kind of leaves a lot of us stuff. And the second part of the story has to do with Benavidez and Opataya and the WBC cruiserweight champion Noel Mikaelian, if I can pronounce his name right. But basically, that's what he was saying. So I'm like, oh snap! I have yet to hear this, but hey, this dude's got some great sources, right? He's went viral with pushing Dana White with the hard Zuffa questions or the hard Ali Act questions back in September for Canelo Crawford. But anyway, when I hear that, I'm like, oh snap, really? So now they're kind of sort of involved, at least for that. So they're taken care of. It's not the boxing world as a whole per se, but it brings a conclusion, a close to that trilogy. That's what it sounds like. They're planning to foot the bill for at least that.
And you could add another little token to my little prediction that he's done bleeding, right?
Oh yeah,
Because that's him walking away from that fight. Then,
yeah. That's very true. He's like, yo, these didn't do me anything. which at first sounds like he was okay with doing, but at this point it's like, oh, those are some big checks you're writing, yo, and for them not to, bring it back or make it up, it kind of makes you second guess whether or not you want to. If the first two first two fights between Bivol and Benavidez was any indication on whether or not he was able to make any of the money back, I think he finally concluded, okay, this isn't happening. Let somebody else take care of this because I'm not going in.
You might even say it's political, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if Russia, if the Russian people would be allowed to work with Saudi money right now, right? It's probably not ran like America, where you got Dana White playing both sides of the fence. Obviously, if Dana White comes out to being a CIA agent, I will not be surprised.
Right.
Because
it was all set up to get Trump in a certain place for something to happen to him,
or to get Dana in a certain place, just with mics. All he needs to be is in the room nowadays. He don't need to say anything. He don't need to do shit, bro. He just needs to be in the room and listening to the birds chirp. That's it. So I don't know. I'm just saying, if we get some like documentary when me and you are 80 years old about how he was an undercover spy, no one knew about it, just know your boy wouldn't be surprised. Whatever retirement home I'm sitting at, Miguel,
yeah,
I'm not surprised. Just weird how the White House is allowing him to cross over with all those different kind of characters right now. But whatever. Maybe that's what Russia is saying. We don't need his money. We'll do this on our own. Not the same. But either way, Turkey's walking away from that one. I feel that's what's happening. That's another piece of evidence that shows us that's what's happening. So it's going to be interesting coming down the stretch here of this year going into 27. Will we still be saying that guys are signing to Zuffa but still not signed to Zuffa? Are we going to carry this for over half a year? Because that's where we're at now, bro.
That is where we're at. And it continued last night. It continued last night. I'll get to that in a later story. But
January was a long time ago, Miguel.
Yes. We're already headed mid-year. We're at mid-year at this point.
Fuck, man.
Oh, boy. So, yes, Bivol got himself a victory. You weren't too pleased with the fact that he went the full distance. I understood why. I would have most likely have liked Bivol. Most definitely would have liked Bivol to finish the fight. Considering how he dropped him early, maybe he could have jumped on him and caught and finished the fight early, but it didn't turn out that way, and it seemed like he was more content, like you said, to just go to 12 rounds. And I guess that worked to Eifert's benefit, because then it's like, oh, I went 12 rounds with the champ, at 175, who is the current champ, right? He is a legit champ, I should say. So part of this story has to do with kind of the second story that I'm about to introduce here is David Benavidez, right? We talked about it. From what recently Benavidez said, that he doesn't see a fight with Bivol happening until May of 2027. That's a full ass year from today. That's a full ass year. Now, when I see that, I'm thinking, okay, he's leaving the door open for something else to happen between now and then. I certainly hope he's not hoping some sort of Canelo fight can still happen. Of course, Canelo is fighting in September against Christian and Billy, so that seems to be off the table. But he kind of went under a lot of criticism because now, of course, how fickle fans can be. The second they read that, they're like, oh, God, he's fucking ducking him. He's ducking him. Right? Already he's wanting to push that till then. Benavidez himself said, I'm going to need some time to get back down to weight. All right. I mean, the guy is huge, right? 100 was a 96. I forgot what the specific weight was when he fought Zurdo. But he's a big dude. And if he didn't move up to cruiserweight and decided to stay a light heavyweight, I assume that he would be a little bit more disciplined with his outside of the ring stuff, so he doesn't blow up in weight too much, so it doesn't make it more difficult for him to drop back down to 175. That's what I'm thinking, right? But he was encouraged to move up because he was a good money fight, picking up belts at cruiserweight. So now he's going to need a little bit of more time to drop back down. That's understandable. Well, he might need even more time than that, because according to Mike Coppinger, it seems as though Benavidez is going to be sticking around at cruiserweight a little bit longer. The WBC, this is per Mike Coppinger, the WBC has ordered cruiserweight champion Noel Mikaelian, if I can pronounce that right, Mikaelian, to defend his title against unified champion David Benavidez, according to a letter obtained by the Ring's Mike Coppinger. Mikaelian has been in talks to fight Ring Magazine champion Jai Opataya in the fall. All right. Well, that's kind of the third part of this story. I'll get to that here shortly. But the WBC going as far as to saying, all right, we got to make this fight happen with these two dudes. So if this fight happens later this year, which it may, it does. If right now Benavidez is saying, "Yo, I'm gonna need until May of 2027 to make sure I get back down," if he's gonna stick around at cruiserweight, wouldn't that push that fight even further? Like if right now he's saying, I'm gonna need at least until May of 2027 to make sure I get back down to light heavyweight. If he starts now, but he's not gonna start now because there's a chance he's gonna stick around at cruiserweight. So it sounds like that fight gets pushed out even further. So before I throw in the third part of the story here, I'm not too familiar with Noel Mikaelian. I'll look up his record here shortly, but it looks like Benavidez is on a belt collecting rampage, at least at cruiserweight. Andrew, does this fight seem likely to be made? If the WBC is ordering it, I'll kind of sort of pull back on that question on the second part of the story. But anyway, were you surprised that this fight has been ordered? Like, does this seem to be the right way to go about it for David?
Well, yeah, I think it does. Look, I believe after his showing versus Ramirez, we both kind of came back here Sunday and said why go back to light heavyweight? 18 pounds? That was the strongest David had ever looked, in my opinion, right? That was the best David I had seen. The speed, the power, everything was there. I don't know why you would go back to light heavyweight. There's nothing there. Unless Canelo, you guys, is saying that he will move up. Once again, this only happens because of Turkey, right? Turkey's going to, again, offer Canelo outrageous money that no one else will. Canelo will go, fuck yeah, I'll fight him for $200 million, and that fight will get made. That's how it's going to happen if it happens. If that's not happening, why would David Benavidez go back down to fight Bivol or Better Beef? They're broke. They make no money. They're not stars in America. There's nothing there. So you look at the situation that he has in the cruiserweight division. This guy, Noel Mikaelian?
Mikaelian is how I got it. Yeah, that's the best I can do.
Is the WBC cruiserweight champ, right? Do we know where he's from? Is it anywhere that has? Where is he from?
Armenia.
Okay, so not a big boxing, and damn it, I knew that. Not a big boxing community, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's rare. More often than not, people who are from there, like I think,
fight everywhere else.
They go to like Canada or something like that. So rarely that's not exactly a hotbed of boxing talent, is the point.
Yeah, so there's no money there, Miguel, but they have to see what Noel Mikaelian needs to see.
Excellent job. This is for the second time for you pronouncing it. You got it right on the money, at least per my definition, because that's how I hear it. So I'm like, let me just, however it's spelled, I'm just gonna go ahead and pronounce it the way I hear the announcer.
Someone else is going, both of these guys are dumbasses.
Yeah, like who the fuck gave these guys a mic? Yeah, exactly.
He needs to figure out who's gonna offer him more money. Is it the unification match with Benavidez, or is it going another way? So that's what they have in front of them right now. We know in boxing, unification matches are usually big money, right? People want to see it. Unfortunately, this is the cruiserweight division. That's not a big draw here in America. So, David, once again, if we're relying just on his star power on PBC pay-per-view, doesn't have a good track record so far. So Noel has some decisions to make. I think he has more decisions to make than David Benavidez. David has two options, both being moved by one man, because I think Al Heyman's out of both of these negotiations with Canelo and with with Bivol. I don't think El Heyman wants to take on that whole fight on his own.
All right, that makes sense. I was taking a look at Mikaelian's record here: 28 wins, 12 KOs. That's not too bad. Is that roughly half? If I'm counting it right, or maybe I'm counting it wrong, but
yeah,
a little under.
Under.
Not exactly the biggest threat. Let me throw another a curveball at you here a little bit. As we know, Opetaia got his IBF championship stripped, right? So in an ideal world, the IBF sees this potential fight for the unification, Mikaelian's WBC belt, Benavidez's WBA and WBO belt, and the IBF says, well, fuck it. Boom, let's go ahead and throw this belt while we're at it. And then now magically this ends up being for the undisputed cruiserweight championship of the world. And the IBF wants to get part of it. And it's like, well, we just took it from the guy who, is considered the #1 dude because he has the lineal championship, the Ring Magazine championship. But these guys most definitely will have a claim to that if I throw in that IBF belt in there, and who gives a rat's ass about that Zuffa belt. That wouldn't be a bad idea from the IBF side. They're like, yo, I just stripped this guy from it. These two dudes, the next best guys in the weight class because they have the rest of the belts. Go ahead and throw that in there.
They can't, though. They're both champions. So they can't be ranked by the IBF. Remember that? They're both champs, so the IBF can't rank them.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah. Well, once you're a champ, once you have a belt, you can't be ranked in another belt. That's not, you can't unify that way by being a contender. So that won't happen. No, what's happening right now is the WBC is making a power move on Zuffa. Are we going to get into that about his other option? Have you already announced his other option is Opetaia?
That's the second part of the story. But
go ahead.
Yes,
that's a big piece of this of what's going on right here.
Okay, so and now this is again when you hear a source or a source of something, boxing information, when you hear it from somebody that's kind of trusted, you generally believe it. What we heard, what I was talking about here in regards to Benavidez and Mikaelian, was from Mike Coppinger. From what I'm hearing on the boxing scene website, is that Opetaia and Mikaelian are finalizing a deal for the Cruiserweight Showdown. Let me go ahead and read a quick.
They were.
This was as a well. Here's the thing. This article is from the 29th, so it's 2 days ago. A lot can change in 2 days, mind you. But let me go ahead and just give you a brief few paragraphs here. Unbeaten Zuffa boxing champion. Shit, I like the fact that they threw that in there. They should just said Ring Magazine champion, for crying out loud. And I mean, who gives a fuck about the Zuffa? But anyway, unbeaten Zuffa boxing champion and WBC titleist Noel Mikaelian are finalizing a deal to stage a cruiserweight bout in an upcoming Ring Magazine card later this year. Boxing scene learned Friday. So Friday was the 29th. Australian Opetaia worked on the details with Saudi Arabia boxing financier Turki Al-Sheikh while attending last week's heavyweight title fight between Usyk and Rico Verhoeven at the Pyramids of Giza. Al-Sheikh originally was pushing for a unified cruiserweight champ unified cruiserweight champ David Benavidez to fight Opetaia, who was effectively stripped of the IBF title by participating on Zuffa card. An official briefed on the matter told Boxing Scene that Benavidez, who also reigns as WBC light heavyweight champion, turned down a fight with Opetaia and was quote unquote locked in on instead pushing for a long denied bout against 4 division champion Canelo Alvarez. Not sure that's true or not, but anyway, according at least to this article, it looks as though it's Opetaia and Mikaelian finalizing a deal. So when you say they were, by all means, Andrew, inform us, enlighten us. What do you mean by they were?
Well, they were until the WBC, I believe, made a phone call to Mr. Noel and told them they are now demanding which is weird, but they're demanding he does a unification match instead of a title defense. So it seems like he was going to take a title defense and maybe fight Opetaia as one of those freebie fights, right? Because they didn't have a contender maybe possibly ready for him. So Jose calls up and goes, "Oh, I got someone ready for you. You're going to unify." And if you don't unify, we're stripping you. Weird. I've never really heard that before, right? Where you get stripped because you don't unify. Could have swore Floyd had how many WBC titles? Never
I've,
once.
I've heard I've heard of them stripping them when they don't fight their mandatory.
That's right.
But to say that, like, no, your ass, like, well, but Jose, I mean, I'm sorry, say Mauricio, it says right here that I have to. This guy's the mandatory judge. Like, you shut your goddamn mouth. I'm sorry. You shut your God bless mouth, and you better unify with this guy by all means. So this is a bit of a strange one. I kind of feel for Benavidez because he's kind of, it almost seems like he's being jerked around, kind of like back and forth. You know, he kind of leaves them outside looking in, kind of thing. But if what I'm seeing here is true, and that WBC order overrides this finalization, quote unquote, of Opetaia and Mikaelian, then he's back in.
Yeah, no, he will be stripped. He will not be a champion. So I don't see Noel moving forward with the Zuffa. Look, Zuffa, you're out. You are out. That is what all these that's what's being told to them right now. If you want to take a fight with them, we're stripping you. Just like we stripped Opetaia when he took that fight. They're out. That's all that's going on here. And I don't see him fighting. Oh, bro, once again, Turkey's going to have to overpay to get him to fight. If they're in the pay bracket of Zuffa's title, you really think this guy's giving up a WBC cruiserweight belt to go fight for what? $100,000? What is there? You know what I mean?
This is not going to be the.
Oh yes,
Dana
it
Zuffa.
is.
There's
yes,
no way it's going to be the. I mean,
bro,
if
it's Opetaia, he's the Zuffa champ. What are you talking
no,
about?
I know, but that doesn't mean that completely leaves him out of these kind of super fights. He's just gonna. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They want to legitimize their Zuffa belt. So now that they have him fighting on these Meta Apex cards, right? They have him coming in the champion belt. They're gonna move that dude right over into the quote unquote.
I can guarantee you guys that is not the plan that they had initially.
Probably not.
That might be it now, but Miguel, what you are describing goes against their whole fucking pay scales, because now this guy doesn't even enter their pay scale. He's just going to be getting paid what a champ makes. And what, you think his next fight, he's going to go, okay, now let's go to the Zuffa title. So that's not the case. And if it is the case, they're backtracking on their own fucking work, okay? On their own.
They've been doing for a hot minute already. So that's why it doesn't surprise me if that is the direction they're going to go, because they've gone back on that.
Another reason why I've told you guys for months now, I'm not scared of this fucking company. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to work. It just isn't. You can't build something, say this is it's our roster. What is it called? Rankings. Right, it's our champions, it's our world. We're changing this, and then go, oh no, but seriously, we'll still pay you like how they pay you. Please fight for us. Come on, bullshit. It's all bullshit, and I don't see the guy taking the fight. I think Opetaia, honestly, is the one being jerked around right now. It's going to be him that's going to be crying if this fight does not get made. Seriously, bro, you lose your title. You're then supposed to fight for. You're supposed to fight one of the other champs, make you feel a little better. Wait. Middle of the night, Suleiman calls. Now you get canceled again. You got to look at your bosses. Like, are you guys really movers in this sport? You know, we heard about all this TKO shit. We heard about all this, Dana White going to take over boxing. Right now, you're getting punked by the IBF and the WBC. Those aren't even the promoters. Those are the guys running the belts.
The belts that they said that didn't matter. The belts that they said that, like, they're not going to recognize those same belts.
Yes, and I think they have. I even think in this situation, I didn't see this until this morning, but I've got to side with Noel that he's going to stick with his WBC title. It means more. It means unification. It means you can maybe go up to heavyweight and fight the heavyweight champ because you're the cruiserweight champ, right? Like, tough place for Opetaia. It sucks to be the first one to do something new, because you never know what the outcome is. This outcome is not looking good for Opetaia at this stage in his career. Was supposed to be dead in his prime. This is a power move by Suleiman. What I don't like on Suleiman's part, bro, I don't like that whole we'll strip you if you don't take the fight. That's kind of fucked up, right? Look, they've got to open the rule book. I don't know all the rules. but I just don't remember the whole mandatory unifications, right? Because
Mhm.
we've had a lot of WBC champs that never unified, bro. And I don't ever remember Suleiman coming out and going, "Oh, if he doesn't unify, we're going to strip him." Floyd being one of them. Didn't he have like 6 WBC titles?
Yes, and it almost seemed like they were just willing to pay a sanction fee and be like, all right, cool. I won't defend it this year. Oscar De La Hoya had it for a long
Yes.
time. Somebody else in our stories later on didn't defend the belt for God knows how long, and then returns and then fights, has a fight, and still doesn't put the belt on the line. And like only until recently gets stripped of it, which again he's on in a later story.
Right.
But yes, like when they want to be flexible with you, when they like you, when they know that a nice paycheck is coming, they'll be nice to you. When they don't see that same possible money making opportunity, they're like, no, we'll take it from you. Forget it. And I mean, just going back to Sergio Martinez and Chavez Jr., Martinez being the WC champ, they strip him of it for whatever the heck reason and just basically hand it off to Chavez on some vacancy crap. So, yeah, they sometimes they too go against the rules, I suppose. I mean, I don't know what the rule book is there, but Andrew, if the IBF can't do what I said earlier, how in the world do we have unifications? I mean, undisputed. How does that even happen then? I mean, they have to allow something because otherwise there would never be an undisputed champion, no?
Well, no. They will fight when they have the belts already, but they can't be ranked as a champion. Once you get a championship belt, you're taken off the rankings of all the other titles. You're not on there anymore. Yeah. Zuffa needs to be real careful how they approach this. You know how I'm saying it's a bad look for Suleiman?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean Hunter, and because I believe they say the man that's really running TKO is this guy Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter Campbell or Campbell
Hunter Campbell
yeah.
and Dana White cannot just jump on the podium and go, "Oh man, this Suleiman guy's a real punk. Check this out." So he's going to strip him, because then they're showing their cards that they're not as powerful as they once said they were, right? Because now they're saying basically Suleiman is dicking him around like the IBF dicked them around. The IBF literally went to their show and then pulled their card. They didn't even do that from the house. They were like, "We're going to show up and take the belt." That's you know what I mean? That's kind of more personal. So Zuffa has to be real light how they fucking approach this one. This is going to be a lot of behind the doors things that are going to happen here to try to get this fight made. I don't know if Suleiman probably doesn't want to push his power too much, because look, there might be a day when you're going to work with them. Ben versus Garcia is right around the corner, right? If this thing gets made, you can't bully too much, right? Or you're going to burn the bridge. So there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes shit going on with Opatai. But Opatai, I think, is in a real bad position right now. He does not. I believe he thought Zuffa had more power in boxing than they actually do. He did not listen to MADBoxingShow. This would have helped him a lot.
Yes. And listen to all the countless minutes of advice we're giving other, potential Zuffa signees advice on this. You guys get your money by all means. The last thing I want to do is prevent somebody from getting their money. But what are you getting in return, and what are you giving up for it?
Yeah, the get your money thing is you got to be, Conor Benn before he signed a multi-deal, but you got to do the one fight deal. You got to do the Devin Haney, the Conor Benns, the Lopez's, these guys that was signed up for one fight got paid way overpriced, and maybe they come back, maybe they don't. But I would not do anything for the foreseeable future with this company, because I just don't know how long
or anything long term.
Exactly.
And I have my doubts about even that fight with Conor Benn being a one fight deal. I have my doubts there either. I mean, there too, because historically that's not how Dana worked. But maybe it's a different story here in the boxing world, because he has no choice. It isn't the monopoly that he has in MMA world that he can refuse one fight deals and does long term shit. Boxing doesn't have that kind of same power, right?
Yeah.
So it seems as though it's Opataya, the one who's getting jerked around. Benavidez seems to be in it. But this does potentially delay Benavidez and Bivol, according to what he's saying here. He's interested in that one still. But if later this year he's going to stay at cruiserweight and fight Noel Mikaelian, well, it's going to be a while longer before he does that, if he does that at all. Because I talked to my pops about it, right? And he's like, "Why is he coming back down? Like, there's no, like, just stay up there, bro." I mean, like, my dad thinks it's a discipline thing. He's like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to go running anymore, and he just feels much more comfortable at cruiserweight. Doesn't want to stick around at light heavyweight longer. But I mean, really, if it's just a matter of him like becoming the man at that weight class for himself, wanting to be the undisputed champion or the unified champ or whatever, I get it. But really, it kind of doesn't make sense unless it is, like you said, a Canelo fight at 175, which seems extremely unlikely. You might as well just stay at cruiserweight at this point and then bulk up to maybe heavyweight later on. But really, there's no real benefit. I don't think there's a financial benefit, at least, to go back down to 175 and fight either one of them. If you want to do it for your own sake, well, by all means, but do it at your own risk. It just doesn't seem sense to drop back down to 175. Probably should stop talking about Bivol at this point, frankly, because it most likely isn't going to happen.
Well, I will give you a scenario that could see Canelo Benavidez happening at 175, and that's Munguia. Did you hear about Munguia and Shiraz? They're real interested in that fight.
I did not.
Yeah. So Turkey's interested in putting Munguia in with Shiraz.
Okay.
I can see Shiraz being built up for Benavidez by Turkey. Moving Shiraz up, because Shiraz is a big fighter. He's a big man. I think
his frame can hold that weight,
and the power looks real, right? The guy has power. So don't be surprised if Turkey has a good boxing business mind. You will overpay Canelo to get his last retirement fight with Benavidez, because look, it's keeping that ball rolling, right? Sometimes you're going to lose money to make money, but the what is it called? Build up that they'll have for Shiraz going against Benavidez over there in the Middle East. You know how big that fight would be for them? That would be their first major huge fight for one of their guys. And Benavidez coming off a win with Canelo, I think is what they need to make that fight that way. So if he has the right business mind, I do see him at least going to the table with Canelo to see, maybe not way overpaying him, but he would make more than Crawford, maybe 20 million more. So what did he make with Crawford? 150, I think it was guaranteed.
Yeah,
something like that. So you're looking at like 170 to fight Benavidez.
Damn.
And yeah, man, because this is for the future. This is for that motherfucking Rihad. You want Shiraz on that wall as the undisputed light heavyweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight king, right? And so there might be a pie. If I'm Canelo, stay close to the phone, because the future isn't about you, but you might get paid for it anyways.
Yeah, the future isn't about you, and you have an opportunity to be handsomely paid to make sure that it isn't about you. At that point, it's like, all right, cool. Just pass on the torch, make sure that shit hits escrow by tomorrow morning, and then we're talking.
Right.
All right. Now, after taking a look at Mikaelian and Benavidez, not a big knockout ratio with Mikaelian, but I haven't checked. Like, I'm looking at his wiki right now. 6'3". That's a pretty big dude. I forget how tall Benavidez is. Is he 6'2"? Is he like an inch smaller?
Yeah, he's gonna be smaller than 6'3". I know that for a fact. I don't know the exact, but I don't remember him being above 6'3". That is a big champion.
Yeah, it's a big dude. And I mean, so was Cejudo, but I don't know if I got to take some time.
I don't even think
videos, huh?
And I don't even think he's 6'3" though. 6'3", damn near heavyweight size, man. You know, that's yeah. I wonder what he walks around in, what his weight is, what he walks around, after weigh-ins.
Yeah, so, I mean, if he cuts any, he's gonna have to drop. He's well over 200 pounds. I guess a safe bet would be, 15 pounds over, maybe, not over the top, but 215 to a natural, dude who looked soft, strong, but looked soft at 196, I think it was, when he entered the ring on Benavidez. So, a knockout ratio not really there, but yeah, for a guy who's bigger, maybe your punches don't do the same. I guess we can go over the same talking points that we thought was going to be
That's
a
right.
point against Zurdo that ultimately wasn't the case. But hey, if Benavidez's power did really carry up to cruiserweight, that'll make for an interesting fight, and hopefully they can get that done. And now we have a little more clarity in the cruiserweight division. Not that we're clamoring for it, because again, here in the United States, at least, the cruiserweight isn't exactly a hot weight class. But interesting things. I've been hearing a lot of stuff. I'll even send you a video of what Sean Zettel was saying, because he was going over a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like, oh man, this is just like it's like a soap opera, it's like drama, like, oh wait, hold on, this person said this, and now you're trying to remember all the characters' names in the story. But anyway, I figured I'd throw that in there, because what a odd kind of clusterfuck we kind of have ourselves with possibly Bivol, and Bivol's going to get that third fight with Benavidez, and then Opataya, Benavidez, and now this Mikaelian dude kind of in the mix. It makes it much more interesting. Hopefully, we can get some clarity later this year. We are already one more day away from June, so midway through the year. Hopefully, we get some clarity the second half of this year. Anything else you want to add to this part of the story before we move on to the next topic, I should say? Alrighty. So, I usually our the way our method here on the show is that we kind of go over the fights that happened during the weekend. First, I wanted to throw in this triangles, Opataya, Benavidez, and Mikaelian triangle before, because they had to do with Bivol, of course. But now we're reached the second part, which is essentially the second fight, or the next major fight that took place Saturday on DAZN. Also, Oshaki or Shaki, but pardon me with the mispronunciation. Foster, I'll just call him Foster from here on out, took on Raymond Ford, defending his WBC super featherweight championship on DAZN. And a quick funny note here: if you guys watched the weigh-ins for the fight, I don't know what was going on with that little screen in front of the scale for the ceremonial weigh-ins, but when Raymond Ford hopped on the scale, it said his weight was like 200 pounds or something, or 196 pounds. I forgot what it was. And then when Oshaki hopped in, it was like 196 pounds. I was like, what the hell? I don't know. Is that like kilos? I don't know the difference. Thank you, U.S. education system. But when I saw that, I was like, man, these guys are messing up all over the damn place. What the hell? So it just seemed. I figured I'd throw in that little funny joke. If you guys get a chance, and it's funny because it doesn't seem like anybody noticed it, or maybe they did notice it, and they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna keep rolling with it. But when they hopped on the scale and I saw that, and I was like, what? Like, it's not 200 pounds. What the, like, I catch on to this. The PBC does that shit all the time. I think it said that Manny Pacquiao was 125 years old, something like that. It's fucking crazy as shit. But anyway, Oshaki Foster put his belt on the line. This is DAZN put a like a graph on the screen showing all the top rank versus matchroom fights that have taken place so far in 2026, and I want to say, if my memory serves me right now, it's been like a clean sweep. Like, Top Rank is sweeping the shit out of all the matchroom guys, which is pretty crazy. I mean, no, I guess I shouldn't say it's crazy, because they do have a great record against PBC as well. But the fact that it was on DAZN, it kind of struck me as strange that they want to even acknowledge that. I mean, Matchroom is kind of DAZN's baby, so I figured they would kind of put that away, right, and not really mention it. But it happened again. Shaggy Foster defended his belt against a matchroom guy and Raymond Ford. And by majority decision. We're gonna talk about the decision in a little bit, but because of the scorecards, and I know by and large, Andrew, you're kind of not too crazy about those analytics, because ultimately the right guy won. But it just seems, for as much crap as we give athletic commissions in Texas, this is the reason why, guys. This is the reason why, with these weird ass scorecards that one damn judge had to draw. But before we get to that, Andrew, what did you think of the performances of both of these gentlemen, especially after that first round Royal Rumble we had, where Raymond Ford damn near looked like a Mexican luchador jumping out the damn ring onto the judge for some weird reason? But what do you think of the performances, of course? And did you have Oshaki winning?
Definitely had Oshaki winning. I I thought Ford was being a little drama when he went out the ring. I could have swore the kid could have caught himself if he wanted to. I'm glad he got back in, but initially I thought he was done, bro. I was like, is he really gonna do this? He can pull that who was it that fell out with B Hop and hurt his arm? Was it B Hop that hurt his arm?
No, it was him. It was I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe Joe Smith or something, but it was him who fell out. Or
Dawson? Was it Chad Dawson?
Was it Dawson? Oh man, I don't remember. But
Right.
it was B Hop who fell out of the ring, though.
Who fell out? Yeah, I just thought it was gonna be another one of those situations because it looked like Ford's body language was kind of weird coming up. But hey, the young man got back in, continued to fight. So more power to him. You might want to catch yourself before falling next time, though, because you can.
What's the rule on that? I'm not sure because I think Chris Mannix was saying, or somebody was saying, it might have been Todd Grisham, that he was like, he's surprised that the referee didn't stop the time. Like, are you supposed to stop the time? I thought I thought it was like old school wrestling. Like, we'll give you 10 seconds to get back in the ring, otherwise your ass is out.
I believe it's 20. I believe it's 20 seconds that ref's supposed to count, and if that young man hasn't gotten in the ring, then the fight's over. I want to also say. No one's supposed to touch him. That's why you've seen people. Yeah.
I thought about that too, because when he falls over, and I thought it was legit. It almost looked like maybe being spun around like that kind of dazed him a second. So when he put his hand on the rope was like, way the fuck up here, and he's just like, oh shit, whoopsie daisy. And I think maybe like the quick spin kind of threw him off his balance a little bit. But when it looked as
I'm thinking more of the straightening of the legs, Miguel. It's like the full,
Yeah,
like, bro, you can't, you're not trying to hook that rope or anything. No, okay, whatever.
No, he did it like a Superman. He's just like, I'm just gonna go through the ropes right here. I'm not even gonna try to catch myself. It looked bad for Shaki because they tangled, right, and he tried to like throw him off or like chuck him off, not realizing he was throwing him maybe that hard, and ultimately that sent him through the ropes. And when he fell through the ropes, it seemed as though, as anyone's instincts, it's like, oh crap, you reach out to try to grab him, right? You reach out to try to help him, make sure that he doesn't hit the ring floor that hard. But you start to go. I think I saw one of the judge move out of the way, and then I want to say it was maybe Eddie Hearn who instinctively was like, oh shit, I can't, fuck. So he moves back, and then Foster gets back up, walks in, takes a sweet ass time walking back in. The time doesn't stop, but I thought it was legit, but it didn't. And then as soon as he comes in, the referee kind of like reprimands both of them, and even Ford is like, "What the fuck? Why are you telling me, yo? He's the one that threw my ass, eliminated me from this Royal Rumble. It wasn't like it was, me doing anything." But anyway, go ahead, continue.
And you are right. Maybe the ref's supposed to stop the official time, but do a 20 count. That he needs to get back in the ring. Maybe that's the rule. I don't know that, if that's the rule or not, but I do know it's 20 seconds, I believe, you get to come back in. Close fight, first 6 rounds. And when I say close, it's a boxing match. Nothing is landed. I don't think a serious punch was landed until the 7th round, to be honest with you. They say it was the gas tank of Ford that they thought failed them. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it's the boxing skill of Foster that separated him from that fight. It was the distance. And they talked about it. But that young man's jab right hand, his step back right hand counter is a thing of beauty. The problem is you need more than just that to get up in the levels of boxing. So that's probably why when he faces higher opponents, he's not going to do as good. But when you put him at that certain B level fighters, he's a thing of beauty with just those 2 punches. And I really felt that's what he was doing to Ford, which is not a good sign for Ford, because really 2 punches and a step back beat you last night. He started getting humbled because there's a round, I want to say 7th or 8th round, where Foster starts landing more than just the 1-2. Right, he starts putting his combos together because he sees the 1-2 is really tagging Ford, and I think it's an uppercut he starts adding in, and that pops Ford's nose. And then at that moment, Ford was done. He checked out. Once the blood started, to me, Ford was like, "Yeah, I don't like these uppercuts. Didn't like the right hand. Now he's throwing an uppercut. I'm here to go to the distance." and backed out of trying to win. Because I had Foster winning the end of that round, and I gave the same kind of respect to Maddox for having. Would he have him winning the last 6? I think of that.
Yeah.
So it's very rare you see DAZN go against their own guy that much in the championship rounds. Speaks to how good Foster was doing and what Ford was doing. So I like the fight. It was an entertaining fight. It was a boxing match, but it was entertaining. But I see flaws in both men that I think I've always seen the flaws with Foster. I've kind of always felt like Foster was a plant there for one of Top Rank's other up and comers, right? They know the levels of their men, right? This is why, hey, we've told you guys time and time again, Top Rank's the best. And here Miguel tells you 2 minutes ago that they're beating the shit out of Matchroom and they beat the shit out of PBC. Well, there's only one person basically left that's running the little guys like Top Rank does, because Queensberry really doesn't have any guys that are in the lower divisions that make that much noise. So Top Rank's always been number one, and I think they know what they have in Foster, right? They know that if they put him up against the B-level fighters, who's the young man that he won the title with? He had to fight twice. The Puerto Rican, I believe. Was he
Brazilian?
Consencio, yeah. Those type of level fighters, right? I think they know they got those guys all day. You put him in the ring with Stevenson. Stevenson's throwing combos out the gate. It's not a 1-2 chess match back and forth. So Stevenson's IQ is way higher. You're gonna need more than the 1-2 to beat him. And then that's even if that fight gets made. I know what you're saying about Stevenson's potential not being with Top Rank anymore. I'm gonna say it seems like all of them are going back home. So I wouldn't be surprised Stevenson signs a 1-fight deal to take on Foster.
All right. Before we get to Stevenson, because that in and of itself is quite the confrontation they had in the ring there. But the scorecards, I figured I'd throw this in there because I harp so much on how bad the athletic commissions are in Texas. 114-114. So one judge had it a draw. 116-112. That sounds a little more accurate. 118-110. Those scores, of course, going to Shaggy Foster. 118-110. That seems wide as hell.
It's not though, because look, I had Foster winning the last half of that fight. Maddox has him winning the last half of that fight. The first 6 rounds are very close, right? It could be where DAZN maybe was giving Ford a little bit too much credit for some of his pop shotting when he wasn't really taking it to the champ. You can't outbox the champ. You know what I mean? And that's sometimes I hate when the commentators, when they allow the challengers to act like they're really in the fight when they're not pushing forward, when they're not taking the aggression side, right? Taking it to him. You're really in the hands of the judges, man, when you're trying to win the fight on the back foot, going to the ropes, countering, things like that. So it's a close fight. I mean, I have it close. 3-3, 4-3 for Foster, whatever in the first 6, and then whack, he just pulls away from this thing. So if the judge seen it that way, I didn't really score it. I'm just saying, we have to remember Ford was a DAZN guy. Some of those rounds might have been a little bit closer in their eyes because of that. And look, we always said that about scores, right? Of course, they're going to give it a split decision. Of course, they're going to make it sound like it was closer. They don't want – that's why it was so – remember when I was like, dude, they didn't like Resendiz at all. And I don't know if that was the zone or them, but remember that fight? They were just like, this guy's losing. It's Mungi. Like, they gave him no hope, bro, to win that fight. So most of the time, all of these fights that are the house fighter is getting beat, it's always a draw going into round 9. You know what I mean? I have this fight pretty close. These last rounds are going to terminate. And you're like, what? The other guy's up at least by 2. Fuck out of here. But that's what they do.
All right. Because when I see these kind of scorecards, sometimes I'm thinking, "Well, what the hell?" And especially from Texas. So it's
Yes.
happened a few times. Back when Pitbull Cruz fought Lamont Roach, I was fortunate enough to be invited to a media workout for the undercard, and that's one of the things that I asked guys, like, "Yo, this fight is taking place in Texas," because I think it was in San Antonio or something. Are you concerned at all of somebody, because they have quite the history? And most of them said no. Lo and behold, our main event was a draw. So it did happen that way with Cruz and Lamont. But ain't the first time, ain't the last time. But every time I see a fight, is it going to be taking place in Texas? Which holy hell, this was in Houston. Later on in actually the next topic, which we'll get to shortly, the MVP3 card. It was in El Paso. It was also in Texas, and the main event had a controversial fucking
Oh
decision
yeah.
anyway as well. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that shortly. So that leads us to kind of the next part of that story with O'Shaquie Foster. During first off, Foster seems to have his eyes set, his sight set on Shakur Stevenson. He wants to. It seems as though he wants to move up. Well, he said it after the fight. He says, "I'll even go to 140." Probably a bad idea, but going up to 135, cool. If Stevenson wants to stick around at 135, because remember, he did move up to 140 to challenge Teofimo Lopez. But whether or not it's going to come back down, he already let go of that belt, or it was stripped of him, whatever. WBC once again shows his rears its ugly head. But that WBC lightweight championship is going to be up for grabs. Lamont Roach and William Cepeda will be fighting for it later on this summer. So I'm not sure if Shakur has any reason to come back down. He's already at 140. When he comes into the ring, they get into each other's face. As I said, Foster already has his sight sets on him. As a matter of fact, he's been calling him out for a while. I want to say Shakur said, beat my homie, and then I'll give you a fucking chance, Raymond Ford. So he does it. And I was like, all right, I beat what he said. He said, like, I beat the son. Now I'm going to beat the daddy or something like that, right? So he gets in. I don't think I realized how fucking stocky Shakur was until he got right up next to Foster. I know obviously he's bigger in weight, but I'm like, damn, yo, he looks fucking like bam next to Foster. And I was like, oh, man, that might not be a good idea. But they were in each other's face, right? Even Stevenson saying you a bum, all this shit, right? It got heated. It was crazy to see. I mean, I don't know if I remember seeing Shakur be that upset about him. But by everyone's account, at least Chris Mannix, Sergio Moro ringside, they made it seem like that fight is just not fucking happening. They didn't even sound interested in that fight. Chris Mannix said, once again, to echo what you've been saying for the longest time, Andrew, the longest signing announcement ever. He did say that Shakur Stevenson is finalizing a deal with Zuffa that has yet to be announced and yet to be finalized. Right? They're not even at the finish line. It sounds like it, but that's one of the reasons why they said there's a high likelihood that we're not going to get Foster and Stevenson. And it kind of sounded like they weren't interested in either, because they would much rather have Foster fight Navarrete, since he too is a champion. He's a unified champion at 130 pounds. And they're both top ranked guys. So it makes it a much easier and really much more plausible type of fight to happen. A much easier fight to negotiate and whatnot. So it seems as though that's what most likely is going to happen, which kind of sucks because shit just got spicy. It got. I was like, oh, they were up into his face. It was heated. I would not mind seeing that, but realistically, Andrew, could we get a Shakur fight? I mean, you kind of said it, like if he's down to do a one fight deal with Top Rank, they're coming home, right? But do you think there's a possibility that maybe Bob is like, no, fuck Shakur, I want you to fight Navarrete. We're gonna get this fight cracking.
Well, no, not if there's no money in the Navarrete fight. So I see them reaching out to Stevenson because it's possible Stevenson has money behind him, even if that is Zuffa at the very end of this. Bob would rather do a deal with someone else to help pay the bill, the guaranteed purse, before he double ends a deal that doesn't know if it's going to make a fucking dime on the return, right? Because I think a Navarrete Shakur was probably not Bob's idea of just putting that on DAZN for free. You know what I mean? Back in the day, you used to make money off those type of fights, right? So it's probably, they're looking at maybe Stevenson. What I don't understand about the Stevenson holdup with Zuffa, what's the holdup? Let's look at this on a real quick. Shakur Stevenson does not have a big market. He is not Floyd Mayweather sitting out there where it's like, dude, this guy makes hundreds of millions of dollars every fight. How are we going to pay him? Right? So it's not that he has a big market, right? What TV deal is Shakur signed to that's holding up Zuffa? Did Top Rank have a TV deal when Shakur hit the fucking market? No, right? They barely signed with DAZN, and Shakur wasn't there. So he has no TV deal. So he has no market. He has no TV deal. What is the holdup? What is taking this months and months of lawyers just, oh no, I have to relook at that fucking contract? What? Does he have a shoe deal that I don't know about? Does he have music? Is he Berlanga? What are the lawyers talking to Zuffa about for now fucking 6 months? Yeah. Come on, you guys. Come on. Someone's bullshitting here. I don't believe it. Unless it's Shakur not liking the money that they're giving him. So every week that goes by, maybe Zuffa goes, damn, the pressure's on us here. Add a one. Add a zero.
It has to be that, no? Because unless maybe Shakur and has smart enough lawyers to read it and you're like, yo, this money's great, but they're gonna own your fucking tattoos or whatever the fuck, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh wait, hold up. Now what? So maybe it really isn't money, but it's the other stuff.
We were able to figure out that stuff in like 30 minutes of some guy's fucking podcast, Miguel. Yeah. This is 6 months of guys reading these papers. Like, what is the holdup? I don't believe it.
I don't think maybe he's trying to get that changed. Maybe like he's pushing back Shakur, saying like, no, I'll do it, but you're not getting XYZ.
Maybe, but I don't think it takes 6 months to go, I want to do my own tattoos or I want, access to my own shoe if I get a shoe from Nike. I just don't feel like that. Why is this taking so long? Listen, you guys, I love Shakur. Shakur's one of the faces of boxing, but he's a fucking nobody today. Shakur can still walk the streets and not get fucking hounded by Americans. You guys do know that, right? We're not misunderstanding here like he's some fucking Conor McGregor in the making, right? And I always say, Conor, congratulations for selling out your tickets in 30 seconds or whatever. Yeah. That's the only reason why I'm saying Conor McGregor. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he's not that guy.
The point is made.
Yeah. He's not that guy. Fuck's the holdup. Get out of here. Stop it. There's something else going on. Maybe Zuffa just doesn't want to admit Stevenson walked. I don't know. But why would Stevenson, unless he was there just to back up Ford, most of the time we are WWE-ish, bro. Most of the time when guys are set up in the ring to be there after the fight, that's the next fight that takes place.
It promotes itself, really.
Camacho does it to Chavez. Tony does it to Jones. Fury, no. Who just did it? Oh, yeah, Fury and Joshua. Fury and Joshua were just at each other's fights. Now all of a sudden they have a fight coming up.
Caballero for Usyk right after Usyk beat Verhoeven.
Yeah, dude. So I don't see why Shakur was there, and I don't know if he was in the process of signing this major deal. Why would you even give this young man at the time of day to go up there and waste your breath, right? I think there's something. I think there's more to it. And it might be what you say. Maybe he looked at their deal and was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not signing this." And he's already working with Bob again on this fight with Foster, and we just haven't been told about it yet. Hoping Turkey will step in and add those zeros that Zuffa's probably missing, or Turkey's going to straighten it out before you burn the bridge, right? But I don't think it takes 6 months to sign a fighter like Shakur Stevenson. Sorry.
All right. So we'll go that route. Let's say we don't get that fight. Let's say some bullshit happens and we don't get Shakur Stevenson and Foster. The next best thing would be Navarrete, right? I mean, that's kind of like the next best option. I don't see him moving up to 135 anyway. Talking about Foster, there's no point in moving up to 135 yet. At least if it isn't with a super fight with Shakur. I'd be down to see Navarrete and Foster. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe that's a bit of a I might even lean towards Foster on that one, but that would be the next possible or the next best option.
I mean, it's the next best option to me and you. It's not the next best option for Top Rank. They might put Foster. Look, he did good on ticket sales at his house. I would have to look at the rankings. I know Keyshawn didn't make weight again, but they might switch over to see if Keyshawn is looking to fight this guy, even if it's at 140. Maybe that's the first fight they do at 140. But I see them moving forward with their talent. And unfortunately, Navarrete is not that talent that they're looking for. I think he's had many opportunities.
Well, he's a unified champ. I mean, that has to count for something, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't, because it's timing, it's matchmaking. Top Rank knows what they're doing. I'm just saying, I see them moving away from Navarrete and moving. Dude, look for Foster to fight Albright in fucking his hometown. And then, you know what I'm saying? To build up something with one of their other guys that are younger and more talented than Navarrete. And I hate talking like that about Navarrete because he is a unified champ, but there's no market there. So I don't know if they're going to waste a title on Navarrete where it's just not going to grow. And he's had some issues too in and out of the ring, right? Eating and discipline and all that, where you really want to give him another belt. And, I don't see that. I don't see the ball rolling with Navarrete. I actually see him, if Keyshawn can stick around, maybe Top Rank trying to set up the Foster to fight Keyshawn at 135, or if they can't do that, go to 140.
No, it'll be 140 because what's his name? Not Foster. Davis. He had trouble making 140. He was already moving up to 147. At least that was the what it sounded like. Right. He hasn't been at 135 for a hot minute, but 140 is where Keyshawn last fought, and even then struggled. So I can't.
So him and Albright, the rematch was at 140 itself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then he would have to go to 140, but it still makes sense for Top Rank. It makes sense more than the Navarrete fight, in my opinion, especially with the way we fucking responded to the Cinco de Mayo card. I just don't know what's left for all the other fighters below David Benavidez, Ramirez. Who else was on that card?
Resendiz, Munguia.
Munguia, another big name that's way bigger than Navarrete. And then you had the other young man that went up against Garcia.
Went up against Ryan Garcia? Oh, yeah. Barrios.
No.
That
guy on the Cinco de Mayo card.
What are we talking about? We're talking about
the Cinco de Mayo card, bro. The Duarte. Duarte was on
Oscar
there.
Duarte.
Oscar Duarte was on
that guy. I thought you meant literally on that card. No, okay. Yeah.
So I just don't. I don't know what's left for Navarrete. I don't know what's left for right now. The Mexicans getting pay-per-view or main events, bro. You got to turn a dime. Mm-hmm. We have to turn a dime, and I don't know if Navarrete does that for Top Rank right now. Just don't be surprised. Don't be surprised they move Foster. If Stevenson doesn't take it, don't be surprised they move him up to fight Davis.
All right. Anything else?
Future. I have like this T2 thing when I watch boxing, bro. Like Terminator. It's all
I see. So it's more like a damn like a psychic's crystal ball. It's like, okay, I see Foster moving up to 140. I see him letting his braid get longer to make the weight. I see him adding more tape to it.
Hey, he's got the size. He's tall. Yeah. He's tall. He can get. And look, I'm not afraid of these guys moving up anymore, dude. We've seen in the past, recent fights, past fights, man. Guys are moving up 18 pounds, 14 pounds, not really skipping a beat. So I'm the Foster. If he wants to gain the weight to move up, who knows? He doesn't come in stronger.
All right. All right. Anything else we want to add to that one before? I mean, I think we kind of threw all we needed to throw at Shakur and his fucking longest signing ever.
Jeez almighty.
So this next one is a bit of a shorter story, and it's really more so a bone I have to pick with MVP and ESPN. So last night, part of the other card that happened was on ESPN or ESPN Plus. It might have been just regular ESPN, but Holly Holm fought for the WBA lightweight championship against Stephanie Han on this MVP3 card. Now, sometimes fights happen at the same time, right? And we're flip-flopping back and forth between channels. And I figured the Foster and Ford card was much more appealing to me. I'll watch the MVP card later. It's on ESPN. Well, big mistake, because for some reason, when I go back to find it on the ESPN app, it doesn't seem as though it was on ESPN Plus, but rather regular ESPN. So when I go back to watch it, I can't watch it because on my regular cable provider, my regular dish provider, which is Dish and that specific package, the Dish Latino package, we don't have ESPN because frankly, we don't watch it. Well, my pops watches it, but we have the Spanish version of it, which is ESPN Deportes. Well, for whatever the fuck reason, I cannot watch the replay of that card of the Stephanie Han and Holly Holm card. So I try to go back because it may very well have been Amanda Serrano's last fight. I would have wanted to watch it. I read that she blew out her opponent in like a few rounds. It was very quick. She definitely made a point going out with a bang. Deciding to take a step back and saying, no, I don't want to be the main event of this card. Let the other ladies take the spotlight here. And, there were some other good fights on the card as well, of course. But to kind of slightly circle back to my point that I made earlier, this fight took place in El Paso. I don't know if that's specifically where Stephanie Han lives, but apparently they're calling it a home cooked decision. The scorecards were bad. By many people's accounts, Holly Holm won. She sounded very discouraged in the ring afterwards, of course, and I have a love-hate relationship with Ariel Helwani. Sometimes when he kind of pushes the envelope with Dana White, I'm like, yeah, stick it to him. And there's times where he acts like a high school girl and he instigates stuff in the ring. And that kind of upsets me, man. It's like, yo, you don't have to do that, bro. Like, don't do that shit. So he does that, right? He'll ask a question to one fighter and the fighter will say, well, I did XYZ, I should have won, and then passes the mic to the other person and kind of does this like in between person, like he's a judge or something. And it's like, yo, the fight's over. The decision has been made. Quit trying to put more flame to this or more fuel to the flame or more wood in the fire. Like, the fight's over, bro. He seems to be very good at instigating stuff. I want to say he most famously, or one of the first times that he made headlines, was doing so trying to stir the pot between Tito Ortiz and Dana White. They already had beef going, and all he did was stir the pot. That seems to be his role these days. Anyway, so he's in there, right? The crowd is kind of behind Stephanie Han because as soon as Holly Holm says, yo, I think I won the fight, they start booing the hell out of her. And she's like, yeah, thank you for the boos. You guys were still nice to me, yada, yada, yada. But yet another weird decision, because the first fight supposedly was close. I watched bits and pieces of it. But MVP and ESPN, I couldn't watch the fight, guys, because I couldn't go back and catch it. I have to go find it somewhere else. I'm sure there's some sort of stream, but this kind of falls in line with the DAZN not being able to stream two pay-per-views or the same pay-per-view simultaneously from two different devices on DAZN. I don't get this. Andrew, if I'm paying for the subscription, I should be able to watch it even if I don't have ESPN on my regular cable package. I'm paying for a damn subscription to ESPN Plus. Why not just give me the damn fights?
I'm not an insider. The easiest answer I can give you is it costs more money for them to put it on the Plus. They're not going to pay these girls more money when they're not getting views on the live stream. So they're more gap fillers. I think we don't like to be real about women's boxing or women's sports sometimes, but a lot of it is gap fills for sports stations, right? It's a 24-hour station that needs content. If you're not pushing big numbers, I don't see you getting on there their streaming platform. I honestly think that costs more to ESPN because you're getting rewatched, right? So you have to probably pay these guys when people are rewatching. So there's no market for it. So why even start it? The girls probably have to prove themselves first on the ESPN station. And unfortunately, me and you did not watch the fight live. Is it okay to say that? You didn't watch it? I didn't watch it live.
I was watching the Ford and Oshaki card. That's what I was watching. I was able to the very thank you to a listener who helped us out. I was able to watch parts of it as I was switching back and forth, but really when it came down to like live stuff, I switched back to the zone and I watched it there because it was kind of going on live. By the time that ended, the Oshaki card, I went back to it because it was still live at that time and allowed me to watch the interviews that took place in the ring with Errol Hawani stirring the shit the way he normally does. But that's all I got. So I'm going to read this quick little paragraph that I saw here. Holly Holmes' close decision loss to Stephanie Hahn on Jake Paul's MVP card event last night has triggered severe backlash, while the consecutive loss to the WBA lightweight champion denied Holmes a chance to become a four-time champion. Many fans took aim at the judges who officiated the MVP. ESPN headlined, blaming them for the setback, with one judge scoring at an even 95-95 and the remaining two siding with Hahn 96-94, giving her the win by majority decision. The scorecards, meanwhile, appeared to contradict the punch stats, which showed Holly Holm outpunched Hahn 102-70. Wow. So, yeah, the thumbs up to Texas once more coming through with one of these scorecards, but I guess that's a two-parter right there. More Texas controversy with the judge scoring and this bonus that I have to pay with MVP and ESPN.
Punch outputs is not what win fights. We know that. We've seen people with lesser punches win fights before. Holly Holmes is 44 years old. She's very old. She looks very old. She lost the fight by 2 points on two scores. It's not like this was 10-08, 110 to 101 or 100, whatever the fuck. It wasn't, right? One judge has it a draw. The other two judges have it by 2 rounds. Say what you want. Listen, I watch the internet as much as anyone. I got to tell you, us boxing fans, there's a real push right now to try to downgrade boxing as a official sport or a professional sport by the Zuffa media. Dana White has clearly put that out, and the only reason why I could say that, you guys, is a lot of these people that are talking bad about outcomes and decision makings and guys' careers. Look at what's in the background. They have UFC pictures. They have UFC fucking cages. Miguel right there. No, I'm just kidding. But no,
don't listen to the damn thing that motherfucker has to say.
No, but I mean, when you have a UFC picture in the background, you're like, this is a fixed fight. Let me tell you, motherfucker, something. You guys have 100 fixed fights that are being investigated by the feds. Shut the fuck up. All MMA guys, shut the fuck up. Seriously. That's what I want to tell you this morning. You have nowhere to speak. Your sport is literally, and all of you guys do this. No, we're not. No, it's the greatest sport ever. Most anticipated. 100 fights, Miguel. Let's think if Don King was in court for 100 fixed fucking fights, what the tabloids would be saying about boxing today. Huh? What would they be saying about our great champions like Mike Tyson, Ali, Julio Cesar Chavez? What would they be saying to us? They're all bums. Fixed fucking fights. They got 100 of them in how many years? From 2019 to the present day? 100 fucking fixed fights, and you want to sit here and fucking tell me about boxing? Shut the fuck up. Seriously, I give a fuck about you MMA guys. You guys are all fucking like this when it comes to your own fucking sport. Seriously. Seriously, you have men that are fixing fights and came out and said it. You're like, that fight tonight was fixed. This is total garbage. What a garbage fight. I don't watch boxing. Fuck out of here. I'm telling you, dude, Dana White has you dick suckers. I'm dead serious. You guys are nut huggers for this man. The man beat his wife. You say shit. Areola's on the Epstein list. You say shit. The fucking guy got 100 fixed fights. You guys say shit. Seriously. Have a pair of fucking balls, man, and get off our sport's dick. For reals. Give a fuck about Holly. I told you Holly Holm was going to lose on fucking Friday. She's 44 years old. There's no fucking future for her. She should have fought her fucking ass off or get out of the ring. You're done. How about boxing's telling you you're done? You're 44. Go to the MVP and fight the fucking chick that's been out of the ring for fucking 10 years, or fight the girl that's been out of the ring for 17 years. They just did the most views in the MMA. Go do that one. Joke. Anyways, no, I didn't see the boxing world respond as much as I seen you boxing MMA guys responding. MMA, you got a serious problem right now. The sport that you love is currently on the decline. Everyone else is coming up, and you guys are like fucking pushing at anything to fucking get something on Dana White's side. If it's a fucking, they're all of these guys. Yes, we've been talking about this for months. You cut off. All of these signings that might happen, we've been talking about this forever. Oh, Dana White's taking over. Has it happened? No, it hasn't, but it's gonna happen. Oh my God. The fuck out of here. Now all of a sudden you guys are all butthurt because of a close decision. You guys are all butthurt because Usyk got a fucking quick stoppage. You have 100 fixed fights being investigated by the feds. Your motherfucking face of your sport had to leave the fucking sport because he's connected to the gambling. Joe Rogan had to step away from the sport. He literally came out and was like, yeah, my friend has an 80% winning ratio. You guys say shit. Where's the fucking stories on Joe Rogan's friend who was 80%, 89% on winning? Where's the stories on Joe Rogan?
Aubrey, right?
Yeah, Aubrey. It's all, Miguel, it's all bullshit. I laugh when I see these fucking MMA, Arwani or whatever the fuck his name is, when he has a problem with boxing, and I get it. He tries to play the fence, but I see his true colors, dude. I see through him. Like I said, I'm T2 in this bitch, right? His face lights up, bro. He's not one of us. He's not me, right? I know what side he's playing for. So fucking fuck all these guys. Go talk about your own fucking fixed ass sport. These fucking guys that are getting, and granted, MMA guys, I'm sorry that you guys are getting paid what you get paid and you make the decisions that you decide. But that was never us. That was never us. We didn't have 100 fixed fights in fucking months or years. Sorry, and we might, but we never been busted like you guys have. So shut the fuck up. That's like you complaining about your friend cheating when you cheat. Your wife cheats, you know she cheats, you guys are in an open fucking relationship, but then you're pointing your finger at your other friend who's cheating. You get what I'm saying? Like, shut the fuck up. You guys shut up. It really is just like the Usyk thing, when they try to take that one all the way. Oh, what a corrupt thing. Bro, oh my God, I'm not even gonna get started again. 100 fixed fights. Worry about your own sport. Worry about the UFC. Don't come over here to boxing. And I love how some of you are saying Holly Holm's an MMA legend. Bitch, she was in boxing before she was in MMA. She just went over there and schooled you motherfuckers. She went over there and taught you motherfuckers that no, Ronda Rousey wasn't shit. Ronda Rousey would never be shit. She would never fight Floyd. She would never beat a man. She did all that in less than 6 minutes, and you guys try to call her your fucking legend now. Shut the fuck up. She's a boxing champ who went over there and schooled you guys. Get out of here.
Are you claiming Holly Holm for your?
Yeah, I mean, I know I ain't claiming her as no MMA legend.
No, I wouldn't call her that either.
One win, bro. And like
one super major high profile win, and then a whole bunch of off and on losses.
Yes.
After that, essentially.
No, all of a sudden, and after this, she's the legend. Getting GOAT next.
She's the GOAT, man. What can I say? Speaking of butthurt, it seems as though somebody else got a little butthurt when it was announced that this MVP3 card was sold out in the arena. One Clarissa Shields decided to chime in, and did she chime in to say, "Fantastic, ladies, we did it! Women's boxing sold out arena." Nah, she said, "Yeah, of course it's sold out. There's only 5,000 seats. Of course it's gonna sold out, and of course it's gonna sell out in a small ass arena, motherfuckers." So immediately she comes out to swat down any accomplishments this card may have had. It seemed like it was a good card, right? The arena looked nice, everything looked nice and well done. But it seems like the inner hater in Shields decided to go to. And by the way, by from what I've read, it seems as though she was on a cruise somewhere. She was on vacation somewhere. Took the time out of her vacation to go to social media to shit on the MVP3 sellout card. Um, and I want to say even Amanda Serrano snapped back or clapped back at her. And um, you know, she, this doesn't take away from the accomplishments and whatever she has achieved in the sport of boxing, which is quite a bit. Talking about Claressa Shields, but man, this girl cannot shut her damn mouth. Holy hell! Anything that she doesn't like, she just has to, spew out all this hate. There's a certain I guess warmth or love that fans have for fighters when they show modesty, when they show humbleness, when they show humility, I guess is the word. When they come out here and they show camaraderie amongst their fighters, amongst other fighters, other boxers, their brothers and sisters in blood because they spill blood on that canvas. I get the complete opposite from Claressa Shields. Andrew, did you catch any of the comments that Shields decided to put on her social media accounts? And it seems as though that in and of itself is getting a lot of backlash. But what did you think of her thoughts of this sellout event?
Definitely starting to sound like a hater. I don't know why Claressa is doing this. She's trying to go against her own business, right? Like it seems like the MVP is in her business big time. They're driving it right now, to be honest with you. Why wouldn't you want to go there and be the face of that whole thing? She had a good resume to take that up. It has to be someone's in her ear. Somebody's talking to her that is feeding her nonsense. But if she doesn't watch out, she's going to be odd man out here, or odd girl out, I guess.
Is it that somebody's feeding her the stuff, or is it just her seeing her stuff and that's all her? Because I mean, it may very well be somebody in her ear, but I think that's too easy. That's like giving her a pass.
Well, like I said, one of her managers, Taffet, was involved heavily. Obviously, we all know that with the HBO side of boxing. I remember a lot of those guys were told went to DAZN. When HBO folded, DAZN was coming. They all went there, or a lot of them. I have to think it's one of those connections that's keeping her away from MVP. I don't think Claressa reads her own contracts, and that's not a knock. She's not supposed to, right? I think she gets information from the guys that she's trusting, or women, guys. I don't know who's on her team.
The people.
There you go. And she goes with that. So it just, yes, it sounds like hating now. It sounds like you're avoiding the other girls by staying on the outside. Just not a good look. Not a good look. And I don't even know where it all goes to, because isn't she heavier than a lot of girls she's beefing with?
Yes. I mean, I want to say, if my memory serves me right, the lightest weight that she was a unified champ or the undisputed champ was 154, going up as high as heavyweight. So anywhere range there, what I'm saying, where she's at. So when she talks about these women, the other boxers who naturally, or maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's like, man, these bitches are fucking thin and nice and pretty and thin and small, and I'm fucking humongous and bulky like a damn linebacker. So maybe she's like kind of pissed that these ladies are getting so much attention. Almost like, oh, these pretty girls are getting all this attention because they're fucking pretty. I'm an Olympic champion. I'm a XYZ. Jealousy, maybe, because a lot of these women are substantially smaller than her.
They're very small. A lot of them are using, what is it, Photoshop?
Oh, sure.
So filters. She shouldn't get that jealous, right?
And did you see the video of her on there? Because homegirl had a fuck ton of makeup on. Like she had a boatload.
No,
of makeup
I have not seen Claressa's thing, but I have seen her dolled up, and she looks fine herself. She shouldn't have that much,
right? And I've seen her before like that with less makeup. Less makeup, and homegirl went over the top with this particular video here. She just has a whole bunch of makeup on her.
Clown face.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she's doing it. I wish she would change her tune, because I do think MVP is doing great things for women boxing. As long as people tune in. Obviously, I didn't tune in, right? But as long as
But
people
they're
tune
doing more for women's boxing than anybody has before.
exactly. So, yeah, I hope that changes for Clarissa, because I don't know where she's going without Jake Paul.
All right. Anything else you want to add to that one before we move on?
No, but I do want to say something that we did not talk about.
Oh, okay.
Foster called out Tank and Roach at the post-fight press conference. I think those two names, I think those got to be involved now, because DAZN is working with Top Rank. Al Heyman possibly is working with DAZN now. Those are easy
Well,
fights.
Al Heyman is PBC, right, with Benavidez, and Zurdo was the zone, Golden Boy.
Yes.
So they can make it happen. It's not like they can't. It's just getting the right people talking to one another, but it's very possible.
And that's a signing that might take a few months to actually be announced, because you have multiple players in that signing. You have people that actually they look at numbers, right? They're not going to just I don't think Al Heyman's just going to go, oh yeah, is that what you want to give me to zone? Yeah, cool, we'll sign that, right? So if the rumors are PBC is working its way over to DAZN, if those are true, this is a good fight that would be made up there for DAZN. I see that that totally seems like a Tank opponent of Shockey Foster, right? That's that B-level guy. He gets to dictate the whole fucking negotiations. He has a title. It's a WBC title, like I'll call him Big Brother, but they used to say his daddy Floyd used to like.
Tank has never gotten a WBC belt, right? I think he's gotten a WBA the whole fucking time.
Yep. So that gets him into that,
it's like Floyd, like, look, son, look at this green belt. Like, isn't this nice? Oh, daddy, I want one for me too. Well, if you work hard, you will get one day for yourself.
So when I heard him, when I seen that he called out Tank and Roach, those are two possibilities right there. I think are very possible that plays out.
Yeah, maybe he should do what you said Shakur should do, and go bail out Tank from jail and be like, yo, I want this fight so bad, I'm bailing your ass out, and bring a camera with him. All right, so earlier in the show, I did mention that on the July 25th card, we're going to get a comeback, right, of Errol Spence, right? He's going to be coming back to face Tim Tszyu, July 25th. I'm not sure where they said. It might have been Australia, I think is what they said. But there's going to be another PBC fighter making a comeback that night. Who might that be? Well, I typed it in my notes, and then I pulled it up on Wiki, and I have the wrong fucking name. But Jermall Charlo. I wrote it Jermall because, again, I can't tell the difference on my notes, but it's in fact Jermall Charlo making a comeback to the ring. Under normal circumstances, that would be pretty entertaining and very exciting news. Not really, because I'm not sure who gives two shits at this point of any one of the Charlos. Well, let me go ahead and read a quick Instagram post that I saw from All the Smoke Boxing, or ATS Boxing. Jermall Charlo is back. The former world champion is set to fight on the Errol Spence Jr. versus Tim Tszyu undercard, making his first appearance since defeating Jose Benavidez Jr. on November 25th, 2023. That was one of those fights that I mentioned earlier that the WBC was totally okay with letting Jermall keep the WBC middleweight championship for God knows how long without, defending or forced to defend it because he was out of the ring. He comes back in November of 2023 to face Benavidez. I think this information is wrong because it says since defeating Jose Benavidez Jr., but he did fight Thomas Lamana, did he? I'm getting confused. But again, the Charlos are a little confusing sometimes. I'm going to make sure that I get it right because I'm almost certain that it is Jermall Charlo who fought. Yeah, see? So he fought Thomas Lamana And on that same card, main event was Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant fought Resendiz, and Resendiz won. It was supposed to have been, had Caleb Plant won, him and Jermall Charlo were going to be fighting later on. That kind of went to shit because Plant lost his fight, right? But yeah, Lamana, this was back in May of 2025. So talking about this here, he's fighting Jose Benavidez in 2023. Let me go ahead and take a look at his record here, just to kind of give you an idea of how inactive he's been for a hot minute. Fought twice in 2019, fought once in 2020, fought once in 2021. That's a year later. Fought once in 2023. 2 years later. Fought once in 2025. 2 years after that. This whole time he was the WBC champ. They were just letting him keep the belt. But ta-da! Surprise! He's making a comeback, as if anyone really cares at this point. Unfortunately, when they take too much time away, and look, if there was some issues, and I'm sure there were some outside of the ring, then he needed to attend to, by all means. All right, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. Unfortunately, the consequences of that is that nobody really cares when you come back. Now, if these guys were legends and they were out of the ring for that time and they came back, it's like, oh snap, ooh, now it's a big deal. They didn't even reach that. You mentioned it many times, Andrew. When you go to PBC, for a lot of these fighters, it's about the lifestyle and it's not about legacy. I hope the money was worth it, because I hope he has some of that left, because legacy he does not have. But hey, you know what? He's coming back. As of right now, there isn't an opponent named. I'm sure they will find a, all respect to him, a Jose Benavidez Jr.-esque type of opponent they're going to throw in there with him, a Thomas Lamana type opponent in there. But Andrew, were you surprised that he's making a comeback and isn't calling it quits? No more than a month ago, he was saying that he's going away. I certainly hope I'm not confusing the Charlos, because again, I forget which one's which. I could have sworn a month ago I saw an Instagram post, him in a nice black outfit, talking about calling it quits. But anyway, he's back. Are you surprised about that?
Yeah, no, because they've been, I mean, obviously that money's going to run out at some point, and it seems like he's been so inactive, bro. The money has to be running out. Especially, they weren't known for saving money, right? The cars, the house, the land. I believe they owned a record studio that had a murder in it. Someone was actually shot inside of it and died. They had a movie theaters that I think went under. So they've had some, they've spent some money. I say they because I still don't know the two apart, and I don't care anymore. You see, both brothers never did enough in the boxing world for me to even remember their names. When you tell me the guy has fought 4 times in fucking 6 years, what the fuck do I remember your name for? He has a good record too, and look at where they're making him come back at. Australia, where no one will give 2 shits. I think the only ones that will give a damn about the fight is going to be the main event winner, Spence or Tszyu. I think that's your next fight coming up. Look for them to want to put Charlo and Spence more in the ring than they want Tszyu. Tszyu, I swear to God, is probably the only fighter that knows how to read. That's why he's been able to hold Al Heyman to his contract. He's the most active guy. Is Tszyu, man, out of the PBC. He's just gotten way better. And Caleb Plant, I guess, too, even though Caleb took a defeat. That's why he's on the sidelines. Caleb's done good with keeping Al Heyman, making sure Al Heyman's keeping him busy. But no, Tszyu's good, but I don't think there's a market for Tszyu here in America anymore. So I want to say they're taking both guys over there. They're going to make some money off the Australian fan base, right? And then get potential fight. The fight that they always wanted was Spence and Charlo. Maybe I have them mixed up. Don't really care. But didn't they just come out? Didn't one of the Charlos just come out and say he wanted to fight Spence? Or He was there.
Yes, so that actually is the other Charlo. But yes, that is him. But it's okay.
They're
That's
all
okay.
the same. They're
Yeah,
both the same.
I'm convinced. I mean, have we seen them in the same spot at the same time? No. But I went back into my records because I did have receipts. Yes, it was this same Charlo that back in on April 8th said he posted on his Instagram stories, "I'm done. I'm retiring from boxing. Lion only is the lifestyle." And then quickly removed it from his account. So yeah, I remember it being that, and now magically he's back. But yes, you are correct. That time it was the other Charlo. So I guess Jermall
Jermall.
that was talking all that smack about him because he's the more 154-pound guy. This dude is more middleweight / super middleweight, more so super middleweight as of late. But yeah, so I guess.
Well, Jermall took Canelo. Jermall will take Spence. So
yeah.
The twins are taking each other's enemies for him.
For some reason, it's like y'all look the same. You know, it's not like, all right, cool, I'll fight for you, but it's like, no, I know it's not the guy that I want. You're not fooling anybody. I know it's not you.
Jermall. The fight might do good locally, right? I know Spence has always said they're not really from Texas. I believe the Jermall brothers are not from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think those are those plants. They come over from like Louisiana and shit like that when they have storms. So I want to say Spence, if I'm not mistaken, has always claimed Texas was always just his, and the brothers might have got a little upset about that.
You are correct. Lafayette, Louisiana is where they were born. So I guess
memory is so weird, bro. I swear, Miguel.
You're like, they were born at the Lafayette Memorial Hospital at 12:15. You know, I don't know where.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It happens that way. There are times where they're like, "Do you remember this weekend?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, Travis fought that weekend. I do remember. Yeah, I remember. You know, and that's how I remember it because it's like in my encyclopedia brain, it's like, oh yeah, that particular weekend, Benavidez beat Andrade. Yeah, I remember
that. Boxing is life.
Yeah, apparently that's how my calendar works at least. But not too excited. I'm not sure. Is there an opponent out there that would even get us slightly excited for this comeback?
Maybe if it was someone who was trying to come up, I would have to look at the rankings because I don't even think the champions. I think they're all past.
Adames has got the belts. Laura, I think Johnny Beck still has one belt, but I'm not sure if they're going to put that type of level fight in Australia on the.
Didn't he get? I thought he got popped with the drugs.
He did, and I think he had 2 belts, and only one was stripped. I think I could be wrong about that, but I think only one was stripped. But I might have to double check on that. But yes, he did get popped, pissed hot. He's currently serving a suspension, and I want to say one of the belts was stripped. But yeah, don't quote me on that because I'll have to go back and take a look at the records. But yes, you are correct there. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's an opponent that's going to give us anything. And again, this is going to be the co-main event or on the undercard. I mean, I have to assume it's going to fall in the co-main event slot. So I can't imagine them giving him a high-profile opponent. But hey, you know what? We got one of the Charlos coming back. It's about time, I suppose, after how long the other Charlo stepped out of the ring, and still. It seems as though the other Charlo still wants to claim that he's, the number one 154-pounder because nobody ever beat him for it. And although he is correct, that doesn't mean you get to step away and never come back and then you stay the number one dude. That's not how it works.
Right.
All right. And anything else you want to add to this Charlo story before we move on to, I guess, sort of the last card? I mean, the last story, but it's kind of it's not really much of a story. It's just one topic I want to talk about. But anyway, anything else you want to add to this before you move on?
No, sir.
All right. So this one. Oh boy, I'm not sure how to label this one, but Andrew, you've mentioned it a few times. You've told me you're not really on board, all in on this record-breaking event taking place in San Francisco, outdoor event. But if I may quote the late great Hulk Hogan. Let me tell you something, brother. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie is all in on Ed Pereira's Boxing Bonanza. If you thought Dana White and the UFC's connection with Donald Trump was anything crazy, this story is crazy. I won't read it to you because it's long and it has to do with other people from California, like Newsom and Pelosi. But it's a crazy
Told
article.
you political though.
It
Are
is
you
political.
saying it's political?
It is. It is more than I want to admit. Yes, it is pretty
All
fucking
right.
political, yo.
Man, I should grab that soundbite. Fuck.
It's
All right.
which one? Dumbass, that one?
Well, no, when we talked about this in the very beginning, and I said is this some kind of political thing? That's weird that you're now the biggest political players in California. You're starting to name behind this thing. But go ahead,
Yeah. So the mayor is down for it, right? There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that's going on that I'm trying to connect the dots. I haven't yet. But the point of this is that there's politics behind this particular event. It is taking place in San Francisco. You from the jump, Andrew said, no, this fight's not taking place. I doubt this is going to happen. We are roughly maybe 6 weeks away now at this point from this happening. And we have a, I believe it was a main event, right? Let me see if I can find it here real quick, because it's you had sent to me before, and I'm trying to. Oh, where is it? I thought I had it already saved, but it is a lot more political than I had originally thought. So much so that it is San Francisco, right? How can I say this delicately? I'm trying to tippy-toe around my words, but it's no surprise that the main event guy is has come out as openly gay. Now that is he's the main event, right? I'm gonna find his name again because he has a very unusual name. But this fight is taking place. Contrary to what we thought initially was going to happen, we thought there was no way. Because remember, back when this was first announced, there were a bunch of rumors of it possibly being Usyk and Wilder. That would be the kind of fight that would draw this kind of attendance. That has been dropped since then. However, every so often that floats up again. But point is, whether we realize it or not, this fight is going to take place in 6 weeks from now. I'm going to try to see if I can find, and I'm sure I can find it here. But Andrew, are you surprised at all that this is leaning in that direction as we approach that event? More and more information is being released that it is much more political than we had originally thought.
No, I thought it was politically driven, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to get into how far is UFC freedom from us? How many weeks do we have until UFC freedom?
I think maybe 2 weeks or maybe 3, because I think it's in June, mid-June, the 20th. I want to say, I don't remember right offhand, but it's mid-June, I believe.
Okay, they're done building their stadium.
Oh, okay.
That's gonna hold 5,000 people. What was it? It was a very low number that they're having on that lawn.
Mm-hmm.
So when is the 125,000 capacity stadium gonna be done for the Civic Center? That's only 6 weeks away. I'm just asking.
I mean, that's that.
Who's looking for tickets?
Am I that friend? No. Yeah. I mean, how would you? Oh boy, I haven't actually seen this area. Is it just flat, Andrew? Is it just a big old flat?
Yes,
okay.
It is. Yeah, look it. I'm not saying that I was never in on this. I didn't believe this from the very beginning. They might have a fight, but I don't believe 125,000 seats are going to be ready. I don't believe they're going to have outhouses for 125,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the money coming from? Who's paying for this? That's one of the questions I kept asking. Who's paying for the security? Who's paying for the building and the teardown of that stadium? Say they do build it. Say they have a guy who's like, yeah, we'll invest some money, and then no one comes. Then he's going to pay for to have it built, destroyed too. It's far-fetched for me to believe, right? Miguel, I watched a press conference, and the main event guy is openly gay, which is not a bad thing. But it made me start thinking of the timing of this fight. When was this fight going to take place? And was there something else possibly going on in San Francisco that would attract people where they could piggyback off of another event that was going? Let's say a gay parade or some kind of, something that falls in that
pride event. Or
pride event. There you go. That's a better way of saying that. Thank you. Pride event.
I hope that makes up for my earlier. That's not dropping the ball.
I looked it up. I looked up gay stuff in San Francisco on the date. I should have put pride. That's a better word, but I didn't. I didn't find anything, bro. I didn't find anything that linked the two. So I'm like, damn. So it's not that, because you would think if there was something going on the pride event, that then they're getting their crowd. At least they would have the security, the parking, the bathroom situation kind of all taken care of by, hey, go over there to and then come back here and watch the fights. They would also have San Francisco had 300,000 people out here today for the event. That means the boxing that was in the middle of the event just broke the record for the right? It all starts like, this is all making sense. Well, no, dude, there's no pride event going on. I don't know. I don't have answers to any of the questions that made me not believe this before. Now, if they put on a fight where no one shows up and these two guys get in the ring and throw down, great. I mean, that happens in San Francisco all the time. There's boxing matches all the time out there that no one show up to. Seriously, you can look it up. There's always fights in the city. It's just they don't have a big fan base out there, right? So usually only locals. So that's what I didn't believe about this. I still don't believe it. And you know what? Maybe next time I'm in the city, I'm going to drive by the Civic Center and take some pictures for you, Miguel. It's probably not that far off of my path on some of my accounts that I have. Let's just go see what this 125,000 seat venue looks like as a what are we getting into right now? We're in June, going to be in June.
Yeah, tomorrow is the first
tomorrow. Yeah, let's see what we're looking at.
And Andrew, when you sent me the high or the reel or the Instagram post of this particular fighter, I was a little confused because I didn't make the connection at that moment. Because the reason I know who he is because he's on the lighter weight classes and neighboring weight classes of Bam Rodriguez, and I thought, oh shit, because he put on a performance on one of the in-away undercards, and he fought another Japanese fighter, and he whooped his ass. I was like, oh shit, this guy's pretty bad, damn. And he's in the neighboring weight class. I'm like, yo, fighting Bam will be fucking crazy. He has such a unique last name, Ola Esquaga. So the easiest way to remember him is his nickname, which is Princesa, which is a Spanish word for princess, not prince, princess. So I was like, oh, what a unique name. It totally went over my head, right? And then you send me the thing, and I'm like, okay. So home dude, swings the other, he plays for the team, so be it, whatever. And then I was like, oh shit, what you sent me this for was to let me know that he's main eventing this card in San Francisco. Now, I tried just now Googling what you said you were trying to Google, pride events in San Francisco. I just did that, right?
Yep.
The first thing that popped up before I had to make it build up the anticipation, it's not in July, but San Francisco Pride festivities usually run the 27th to 28th of June. That's kind of later in the month, a little closer to July 11th, but not exactly. But listen to this. The main weekend celebration at Civic Center Plaza. Is that the same place where they're holding this card?
Yes.
Wow. World-renowned Pride Parade down Market Street on Sunday, June 27th. So even though they're not doing it on the same weekend as this event, it's still the spot to do it. And people know that there is a spot that they do there. So maybe they might still have the crowd. They might not have the logistics of bathrooms and concession parking already ironed out. They might, but we don't know about it as of right now. But they otherwise would have had that already ironed out if they were doing it the same weekend as this. But point is, they know that that's the spot for this community to gather, and they're gonna go there for this. So that, oh boy,
they got some high hopes, though.
They do have high hopes. I mean, people will show up for this. They'll show up for the Pride events, right? Yeah. Maybe they won't show up for boxing. Maybe they don't give two flying fucks about boxing. But when they have one of their own out there representing as the main event, I suspect they're more likely to attend and support. Whether or not that does ultimately break this record, I don't know, because I'm not sure if I've even. We talked about it a few seconds ago. Ticket prices to kind of see what that is. Because here's the thing: when you buy a ticket, it's because you know what seat you're going to go to. You know, if they don't even have the damn arena set up yet, then you don't even know what seat you're going to be in. Obviously, you're not just going to be. I can't imagine it'll be an EDC type of thing where they're walking around. Like, there's going to be seats, of course. They're going to be watching a fight, right? It's not like they're going from stage to stage like you would at a music festival or anything like that. You have to have a seat. It's your assigned seat. If they don't even have at least the blueprint of how that is going to look like, or at least that we know, because we're not seeing it online, I have to imagine the ticket prices might not still be up in the air. I guess what might still be up in the air.
The bathrooms situation have to fit the capacity, and so does the security. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in seeing who's pushing this politically. Because that's where the money's coming from. It has nothing to do with these fighters. I told you guys months ago and I didn't even know who the fighters were. I just knew it wasn't.
It is still kind of about the fighters, because I mean, how else do you think they're gonna pull that type of audience unless it's quote unquote one of them?
No, I'm saying this event is being put on by the political backing more than it is the fighters.
Oh, gotcha.
The fighters. They can't bring this kind of money in that's going to fork this bill. It really isn't. It's, dude, I'm telling you, they need a bathroom per many heads. There's like laws you have to have, right? You need so many. If you can't tell the city, yeah, I'm going to have 125,000 people come in. Where are they going to park? I don't know. It's on you guys. I don't fucking know. Or who's going to use the restroom? I'm going to tell them to go to the businesses around. What? San Francisco don't allow public restrooms anywhere, right?
They don't allow public restrooms. What you mean, like porta potties? Is that what you meant?
Porta potties, maybe, but I'm saying you can't walk into a business and go, "Can I use your restroom?"
Oh,
motherfuckers
shit.
Lock themselves in, start doing baths, start shooting up, smoking crack. Oh yeah. I think one tried to commit suicide. I've been in a gas station. One dude tried committing suicide in a bathroom before, locked himself in. Fucking cops are there for hours trying to get that door. Yeah, they don't let. No. There's so much bullshit out there, bro. You ain't just walking into somewhere using the restroom. That's why they used to have bathrooms on the street you could pay and go into. Guess what? And homeless got into there too and fucked all those places up. Yep. They're like, I don't want to. They're like animals at night, bro. They're fucking breaking. You don't have a cop there 24 hours a day, shit will be broken into by the next day. So all those kind of went away too. I think even probably the cost of keeping those things clean. Oh yeah, people were buying them to take a hoe into there. Now it's a hotel room. It's not a bathroom. And you're on the fucking Market Street. You know what I mean, bro? Pier 39 going into one of those. Whole family watches two people go in. One of them's homeless.
They come out like smoking a cigarette.
The city life. Sorry, baby, I didn't hear all that. That's what I deal with all day at work.
I thought you were going to throw me under the bus. It's like, this is what I have to deal with every time I'm on the show with Miguel. This is what he talks about. I'm forced to talk about these topics because he won't shut the fuck up about it. Throw me under the bus. Is all right. I'll take it.
I've watched some of the crazy. I watched a girl crawling on the street, bro. I was there 6 a.m. Watched someone crawling on the street. Felt bad. Sorry for some biker dude. Pulls up about an hour later. Sun's coming up. Gives her a bottle of vodka. She drinks it like water. Gets up and starts talking to him like it's a normal day now. She was just crawling on the street picking the cracks. I don't know what she's picking. She's just doing something tweakish on the road. One bottle of vodka turned her normal.
Oh man.
Yep. It's wild out there, but there is no public restrooms. There is no helping of the neighbors. I don't believe it. Now we'll see. we'll see. Maybe they have 30 seats and they go, "Oh, we did it, but we didn't come close to the record, and that's okay."
We tried. That's all that matters is that we
Yeah.
tried.
It's like there was 30 people there. Fuck out of here.
Yeah. Oh man. So that's the update. We're roughly 6 weeks away, I guess, right at this point, from July 11th. And I got to be honest. When this was first announced, I debated going. I really did. I thought about going because I have a warm spot with my favorite casino, Caesar's Palace, and what was at one time their outdoor pavilion that they hosted many iconic fights that I never got a chance to go to. I shouldn't say I never got a chance. I had a chance to go again, WrestleMania 9. I just couldn't take it sold out. But point is, like, to be out there to watch an iconic fight, especially in that era, in an outdoor venue like that. I've gone to several. I saw Antonio Margarito fight at the Stratosphere once and stuff like that, right? So it's not like I haven't seen it, but it's just cool to be out there, right? And maybe not the best for the fighters. It's hot, they got the sun in their face. You're a fan. You're not out there performing physically. You're just watching and drinking beer. But I would have loved to have gone to one of those fights. I'm going to sidetrack here real quick. I don't know if you do this, Andrew, but I kind of have the fight nerd in me goes to BoxRec and like pulls up iconic fights, and then I see who's on the undercard, and I'm like, oh, I want to see if I want to go watch this. I'd catch these fights, and I didn't know Butterbean fought in Caesar's Palace. He fought on the undercard of De La Hoya and Pernell Whitaker, like stuff like that, right? It's just like, oh shit, that was a different card. But anyway, point is, like, I see this and I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. I do that, right? I look at the undercard and I watch those kind of things. But anyway, well, I do that, right, to take a look at those older fights that took place in these iconic arenas. So when I saw they were going to do this outdoor event, and I was like, oh, I want to go. I want to be part of that, like, holy shit, watch me be part of history. I bought a ticket to be there, 132,000 people. And then as more information started coming out, I was like, no, I think I'm going to sit this one out. I'm not sure if I'm down to go for this one, for not the reason that you think.
Right.
My point is, this is some sort of. Do you remember that Fire Festival or Fire Fest or something that was like a fraud some time ago, right? That people
on an island.
I think it was on an island, right?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
This kind of gives those vibes. You know what I'm saying? When we have this stuff already in place, I think they already had a whole lineup of people that were going to have on that particular festival or concert, whatever. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We are 6 weeks away at this point. Maybe when they're a month away, 2 more weeks, maybe by then is when they'll start building this fucking thing. But I can't imagine how they're going to build these.
125,000 seat venue in 2 weeks, bro.
No. 2 weeks from now means like they still have a whole month, is what I'm saying. Because we're still like 6 weeks away. So 2 weeks from now still gives them a full month to build this motherfucking thing and see if they can do it.
That's insane. That's a lot of people working. Yeah, we'll see, man. Like I said, well, maybe I'll Google it later, see if it's already up. Shouldn't they have something already moving?
I guess. I mean, they have. I can't. I would have to think that they have something like what do they have there? I know it's open grass, but is there like a fountain or anything, like anything that might be in the way or something?
No, not really. They have like how would you say, a platform, like a cement platform that they do things on, but nothing that would,
like a stage.
Yeah. But nothing that would be in the way, but definitely trees are in the way. So the stadium is probably going to have, there's going to be somewhat of a park-like scenery around this thing. This is not going to be Caesar's Palace in the outdoors. Right. It's not going to be
it's not a flat open lot that's clear of everything. No. Oh boy. All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to sit this one out. I want to see how this happens. But by all means, Andrew, I'm going to send you an assignment. Please go ahead and take a look and see what that area looks like. And by all means, post pictures on our Facebook account to check that out.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be, and especially if they are building something.
Right, exactly. See what the beginnings look like. Because, I mean, I imagine the old school Caesars Palace with, 4 humongous bleachers and a whole bunch of tents in the back where the fighters were resting, coming out of their dressing rooms pretty much. But anyway, we'll see how this goes, and we'll see. You know what other? I want to say you might have sent me a screenshot or something of the rest of the undercard. I don't remember right offhand, but we got at least. Oh, here we go. Buy tickets. Did I already do this? Hold on. Give me 1 second here, because now I'm just like general admission. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, hold up. Hold the front door. When I pull this up on the tickettailor.com, history in the making. History is taking over San Francisco once in a generation. Night of World Championship Boxing, live music, live food, world-class DJs and celebrities in the heart of the city. All right, so it's not just a boxing fight. I think we already knew that. General admission starting at $60. VIP ringside and hospitality from $175. Okay. I'm starting to think. All right, I'm trying to connect the dots here. The way they're making it seem here, right? Live music, championship boxing, local food, world-class DJs, and celebrities. Maybe it is a EDC type of food fest type of place, vendors all over the fucking place, right? The ring in the center. Will there be bleachers? Maybe there will be seats, but will the majority of the people be standing?
Yes, that's all this is gonna be, bro. They're piggyback. I know they're piggybacking off something, Miguel, because there's no way they were able to afford all of this, dude. They're being part of the event. He got in on something much bigger. That's what it sounds like to me. I just sent you pictures of the Civic Center so you could get a better look of what the grounds looks like.
Wow.
You see the trees. You see how they don't have, they're limited on space really about putting a fucking stadium. Like, it's not going to be a stadium. I think it's going to be that second picture I sent you where it's just like a bunch of people standing around in that area, and they'll have a ring in the middle.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, they're going to have to put up a tent somewhere for the fighters to, chill in the meantime, because that's usually the way it is. They have some sort of tent while that it is pretty much the fighters' locker rooms while they warm up and wrap up and all this shit. Wow. What a clusterfuck of an event this is going to be.
Yeah, wow. He was lying. Miguel, he was lying when he told us he had Usyk and Wilder. He lied then. Look, 24 hours later, they take that shit back, dude. Then, like 3 months later, he tries to bring up Usyk's name again. And it's like, bro, you did not have Usyk signed. Usyk turned that down the next day. His people came out and was like, we're not fighting in San Francisco. They were always lying.
Were they ever even approached by it? Like, I'm not even sure.
I don't even know.
They even got a phone call. They're like, don't put our fucking name on that. You haven't even sent us an email. Relax.
Yeah, no, I think this dude maybe was a part of Turkey. Remember, they said he did a show for Turkey.
The New York one, the Times Square.
Maybe then he talked to one of Usyk's guys. Usyk's guys was like, hey, that sounds interesting. And then he ran with it, right? Oh, we got Usyk. I never told you we were coming. It could have been something like that, bro, where it just mingling at the New York event made him send this press release off like he was somebody. He's been lying from the beginning. I don't believe it. I do believe something will happen. It does seem like something's happening. It's just not going to be that record breaking. It was never going to be that.
And maybe that's kind of, and I'm not sure if I read this somewhere, or if I'm just connecting the dots, but maybe that's where he got the idea, right? Like, oh, wow, look at this crazy event at Times Square. I bet we can do this in San Francisco. I can do it somewhere else, right? Like, even more people. And then, down the rabbit hole he goes.
How much of it? How much of this baby was his that he just took to Turkey? Maybe the New York thing, maybe the concerts inside of the fights that happened in LA, that might have been this man too, feeding that to Turkey, because that's what he was saying he wanted to do with this one. There was a lot of connections you've seen with Turkey's first few events that are playing with this man. Then Turkey seen he didn't make a dime off of it. You guys are wasting a lot of money. I'm not seeing profit. Get out of here. You're done. And so now he's moving on, trying to do it by himself. Now, he might have been the guy that had the Alcatraz idea, right? That could have been all him. That Turkey was like, oh, yeah, I like that. That sounds good. none of it worked, and so they move on by themselves.
I'm gonna look into that because in this article. Oh, by the way, I have what is it called? The Substack. It's basically like a some of it is paid subscription, but it's basically a way for you to look up people's articles. And I follow a few people on there, and one of them is this guy Zach Arnold, who is writing about it. And in there, he briefly mentions that Alcatraz card that was kind of brought up, but I don't know if that has to do with him specifically or just one of those San Francisco type stuff going on. But anyway, figured I'd throw that in there. But all right, we'll see, and we'll report. I feel like a news anchor here. Like, well, I'll expect a report on my desk by Monday morning, Andrew, on your reconnaissance and seeing how that particular event turns out. Okay. Cool. I think we talked about everything we needed to talk about. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this before we call it a show?
No, sir. Good show. Good show with limited news.
Yeah, precisely. And then just a quick reminder, guys, I will be going out of town this week. I will be back by Thursday, so expect a Thursday show. I should be able to get in here evening-ish. I might, if it gets late, I'll text Andrew and I'll let him know. We might just wait. Sort of depends on how our schedules are looking. But I'm trying to make it in here by Thursday, so we can get a Thursday show as opposed to a Wednesday show. So just a brief reminder. Cool. That's going to do it for us today. I was going to bring up boxing schedules, but really there isn't anything that good worth talking about until like Bam Rodriguez and Antonio Vargas in mid-June. But until then, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of news and we'll be talking about it. But that is going to do it for us for this or on this Sunday afternoon. For my co-host, Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapachet, I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, a.k.a. Fight Fiend Miggs, and this has been the Mad Boxing Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Peace.